have been, you know, they like to break my balls about me trying to incorporate coaching approaches into the way we manage our band. But little by little by little, they're starting to become more and more open to the idea of like, okay, so we had one night where things did not go particularly well.
Okay.
In fact,
according to who?
According to all of us.
Okay.
In fact, now according to the audience, they had a great time.
Okay.
So we call it band talk, because we never talk about what is going wrong. We never show the chinks in our armor in a performance context. You know, our goal is to be there, and we smile and we shake hands and kiss babies, and we are performers from the moment we walk in to the moment we walk out. And that's something that has developed over the years of just, you know, not airing our dirty laundry.
By the way, do you have any video on Facebook or anything of you performing?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. Aaron is an excellent, super dynamic performer.
Oh, thank you.
No, I mean, you are, when I first met him, I thought that he was on cocaine because he's so crazy.
I might have been.
Like,
no, I wasn't.
No, you weren't. You said, I'm as sober as a heart attack. I haven't done that in like 6 months or whatever. Yeah. And it was like, whoa, dude, you tripped my face off because you are crazy.
No, I actually, I had a couple of experiences on this trip where I tried to do drugs. Like I smoked pot one night and I did coke one night, and I just went, yuck. I don't, like, I've gotten to the point where those things have ceased to serve their intended purpose anymore. And it's a good thing, but it's also like kind of a bummer, because it's like I wanted, you know, after I stopped drinking, I was like, I still want to be able to quote unquote party once in a while. I still want to be able to participate in the ritual of, you know, being a rock star and partying and whatnot. And it's just gotten to the point where the more and more I continue to meditate, and the more and more I continue with my own coach, and I continue down the road of, you know, development and personal understanding, the less and less drugs, the less and less dysfunctional behavior in general serves me. And this was
how that works.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of a bummer, because then, because like the effects of drugs, after you do them and you go, oh, this isn't for me, it takes a little while for it to go away. So you're just kind of stuck, like knowing like, God damn it, I'm not going to do this anymore. But so that was something that happened. But the guys, like I was saying before, the guys, they have been a little, you know, they've busted my balls a little bit about some of the approaches that I trying to apply, you know, to being in a rock and roll band. And but little by little, they're doing it. And we were having some band talk on our way home from a show, and I did it in a very directed manner. I was like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. Is we're going to talk about what went well, what didn't go well, what we can do to change it in the future. And we broke it all down and fully unpacked it. And it went really, really well. And, you know, and then we cross-referenced it with the agreed upon values of the band. Like I've elicited all the values of the members of the band, and then we as a group agreed upon our top 5 values.
That's awesome.
And we've agreed upon our mission, and we've agreed, you know, we've begun to flesh out what the band means. And I'm proud to say that this was the first tour we've ever done where we came back in the black. Like we were, we actually had a little bit of a problem, because we were driving around with just $3,000 in cash the whole time we were gone, and we never dipped into the red at all. And we ate comfortably, you know, we ate well. We slept comfortably for the most part. We rented a van. We were able.
I was going to ask you where you got a van.
We ended up just renting a minivan.
That's cool.
And then the other band we were on tour with, the band we were on tour with is called Your Mom. And
oh my God, we say that kind of a lot.
It was really fun getting on stage every night and being like, we just like to say it's been a lot of fun being on tour with your mom and playing with your mom every night, and hanging out with your mom, and you know, stuff like that. We the very first show in Oklahoma City, we had a little stage banner where one of the guys went, guys, I'd just like to say, I want to confess in front of everybody here that I love your mom. And then one of the other guys go, well, I guess then I should probably say too that I also love your mom.
That's
and like,
awesome.
you know, had this thing going, and anyway, they were a lot of fun.
That's a blast. Hey, did you like the places that you played, and were they all in Oklahoma?
No, we played at Oklahoma City. We played in Denton, Texas. We played in Amarillo, Texas, and we played in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Did you like the folks in Texas?
I love Texas.
Okay, good. I don't know if I do or not.
I think Texas gets kind of a bad rap, but I like it. You know, there was one friend of mine who there's a part in the show where we play an Iron Maiden song, and Iron Maiden normally when they do this song, Bruce Dickinson, the singer, comes out waving a giant British flag, and I came out waving a giant Colorado flag on the end of a pool cue, and when we did it at the end of the show, this friend of mine from Denton comes up to me, and in all seriousness and all sincerity, he goes, "What kind of flag was that you were waving?" He's like, "Is that like the flag of Kazakhstan or something like that?" And I was like, "That's a Colorado flag." He goes, "Oh, I've never seen it before." He's like, in Texas we have the Texas flag and the American flag, and that's it.
Indeed.
You know?
I know more lines of Deep in the Heart of Texas than anyone really ever should.
Really?
Would that be more than one?
Oh, it is more than one.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay.
Sing it.
So,
Sing
do you know them?
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
The rabbits rush along the brush, deep in the heart of Texas. The cowboys cry, "Ki-yip-yi-yi." Deep in the heart of Texas, reminds me of the one I love. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Where did you learn that
My
song?
niece Aubrey was born in Texas.
I only know the one that's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Which
Pee-wee's
one's
Big
that?
Adventure is a movie that came out in the
I know
80s.
that one. I saw it like 800 times because I love that movie.
It's
Yeah.
a great movie.
That's the kind of intellectual stimulation I get when I'm
I
looking at a movie, right?
No,
Bill
but
and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure.
I do
Magic Adventures.
like Texas a lot, though. I like there are things about it. You know, the people. There's a certain friendliness there. There's a certain you know, they are a country unto themselves.
Clearly.
You know, and
in more ways than
yeah, and they can be a
Thank you.
little over the top, but I find that in Texas music especially, like what Texas has done with rock and roll and the blues is amazing.
And what they've done to politics is even more amazing.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
I just like ZZ Top and
Right?
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh,
so
yeah, I forgot about that. Hey, we're going to go to a break. You're listening to Social Penetration right here at WCAS Aurelia.
Look at your child.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, buddy?
Hi.
How was your day? Super great.
Hi, Keegan.
Keegan,
This
Aaron.
is
Cheers,
Aaron
nice to
Howell.
meet you.
This is Margaret Brody.
Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
Hold on, hop on a.
Oh.
Put these on.
Knowing the signs of autism and
You want to
catching
be
it
here
early
on this
can
microphone
make a
with me
world of
here?
difference to your
Do I? Or do we want to like?
Or
Do we want to
say-
flank him?
Visit autismspeaks.org.
Whatever you want.
Here, trade me real quick. So I don't get these crossed up.
Kids witnessing boy every day. They want to
You're
help,
going there.
but they don't know how.
You'll be there.
They're safe.
Okay.
Simple way. Stop bullying. Teach your kids.
If you
the
sat,
facts,
we could
bystander
probably
kids.
share a mic.
Okay.
One,
Don't you think you're
tell
that
a
height?
trusted adult,
Probably.
like a family member.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Teacher,
That's
Totally.
God.
Two,
Okay.
the one being
Cool.
told, get
What
away.
happens?
What happens? Okay, first I want to talk about your blog. I'll introduce the UK name though, so that
Okay.
you're talking on the air and
Fine.
that people know who you are.
Give it away. Stop
I want to talk about your blog, and I want to talk about what
Simple.
I got your email this morning, and I want to pull that up and start talking about what you've blogged about recently.
Radio.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Oh, the
The
boring.
green
You're one of the
Hedonist
millions of
did.
Americans
Okay.
who's a little
So I'm gonna
afraid
pull
of
that
the
up.
internet. You feel it's just not for you. Or maybe you think it's all too much and don't know where to begin learning. Did you know that today, many companies post job openings online only or require online applications? It's vital that every American have the digital literacy skills
so
they
I
need.
would say rock, paper, scissors, candle.
For more
All
information,
rock, paper, scissors,
visit
candle. So it's
www.everyoneon.org
Rochambeau
to find free internet and computer training classes in your area, or call
Cut the candle, burn the paper.
1-855-EVRY-1-ON to learn more. This has been a public service.
I don't even drink at all.
Connect to compete. and
Oh,
by
that was so
WCAS
funny. I just saw
Radio.
somebody recently that hadn't seen me since I used to
Wash
drink it, and I'm like,
surface,
dude,
utensils, and
you're
hands with
exactly
soap,
the
water,
same.
while
I'm like,
preparing
yeah,
food,
except for the
especially
pass
when
out.
handling raw meats or eggs. Raw food may
Right?
contain bacteria
Yeah.
that can make you very sick or worse. 1/6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning
Burn
this
the
year, and
paper,
roughly 3,000
and cut the
will
candle
die.
wick.
But you can keep your family safe by cleaning with
Scissors.
soap and water
Yeah,
as you
Bernard,
go.
Are you
Learn
drunk?
this and
Rock,
other important
paper,
scissors.
scissors. That's
Candle.
Rochambeau.
At
Come on, man.
foodsafety.gov. That's
We know. We're all
foodsafety.gov.
traditional.
Public service
You're
announcement
making
is
no
brought to you
candle,
by
right?
Hey.
HHS and by
Hey, this is my radio show.
I fear change.
I fear change. Oh my God.
Preach it,
spend a
brother.
lot of
That's
time
about the
all
funniest
sorts
shit
of
I've
changes
ever
for
heard.
They spend ages watching funny online videos
Oh, look,
for 197
people that
straight
wrote,
minutes playing a video
Like
game
the
without eating
premier
anything.
text of my
Which means
research
They can
are
spend
coming
2
on this
minutes
show
twice
next
a day
week.
brushing their teeth.
Well, cool.
Tooth
I know,
decay is
man.
the single most
Nobody,
common chronic
right?
childhood disease. That's why brushing for 2 minutes now can
I
save your
dream of this
child from
music when
severe
I go to
tooth
sleep at
pain
night.
later.
You do?
To find out more, visit 2min,
Okay, so
2x,
was it Green
2
Hedonist?
minutes, twice a day.
What about it?
They have the
What's
time.
from Green Hedonist?
Message from the Partnership for
.com?
Healthy Health, Healthy Lives,
I
and
don't
the
remember what I wrote.
by WCAS Radio.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel over a mile, carrying a world of trouble. It can ignite and
Oh, you want a
destroy your
coffee,
home
buddy?
and community.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's really
It has
cold
decaf.
right now
Oh.
outside. But before you know it, it's going to be summer, and
Here we
these
go.
wildfires will be
What's
back.
from the Green
So with
Hedonist?
simple steps to adapt to wildfire, like clearing areas around buildings, knowing community safe zones, you help protect your home
Oh,
and
okay, I'm gonna
community
ask you
from
about it.
wildfire
What is it?
damage. But becoming
I
fire
don't know. It
adapted
says,
is more than
first
one
of all,
person can
one
take
simple
on.
thing, great coffee
It takes
doesn't
a
harm
community
it doesn't harm
to
people. Okay.
Visit
We're gonna talk about all this.
fireadapted.org
Okay.
today for more ways to help
So
protect
far,
your
okay.
home and community from
I gotta remember
wildfires.
first.
Public service message from the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and from WCAS Radio.
What WCAS radio?
I'm so sincere. Got something you should hear right now. You want to hear? I'm not.
It is social pizza tration
About
tonight.
About to change the
Are you-
game,
you
son.
have good? Are your? Oh, yeah, they were his in the first place. Yeah, Keegan Walker has joined us.
Hi,
Hey,
Keegan.
Keegs, there's so many things I didn't know. You know, you can say hi. It's radio. It doesn't. It actually is no good if you don't talk on the mic.
It's hard to talk when you talk.
No,
Am I speaking? Oh, there I am.
Yeah.
Listen, I can hear myself.
I know.
It's
right?
hard to talk when you talk so much.
I
mean,
never
you're a
shut
radio
my pie
personality.
hole.
We'll just describe
It's
what
true.
Keegan's just.
I know, exactly. For the rest of the night, it's like
Ooh, he gave a contemptuous.
It'll be like one of those old school like 20s radio shows, you know, describing
He
every
just
little
gave me the
nuance.
hairy eyeball.
Just need,
That's
we need a sound effects guy.
Oh my gosh. Aaron can do the sound effects. Hey, can you do sound
Ooh.
effects?
I don't, yeah, actually,
That's pretty
I
good.
That
loved.
was awesome.
I used to love Michael Winslow from the Police Academy movies.
Okay.
Did you know
See
he
it in the
I never
graduated?
saw
Police
this.
He graduated from my high school.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went to Thomas Jefferson High
No
School.
way.
Yeah, we have a big picture of him up in the theater.
Some of my stand-up
Wait,
comedy
who is it
buddies,
again?
Michael Winslow, the sound effects guy from the Police Academy movies.
Stacy gives me a blank
And
slate.
then and there was dead silence.
Yeah.
A series of really, really pretty bad comedies from the 80s. The
Oh,
first and
come
second
on,
one. The first and
bad.
second one were great.
Yeah.
First and second one were great.
That
But
is relative.
Michael Winslow played the character Larville Jones, who did really, really awesome sound effects. He was also in Spaceballs. Did you ever see Spaceballs, the
No.
Mel Brooks classic?
Man,
No.
where have you been?
I just
For
don't
like
the only
30
movies
years.
the only movies I watch are when I'm camping.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time otherwise. That's the
Camping.
time where I have it makes sense.
That's true.
It is.
Yeah.
I go to the library and I check out movies and then I go camping. So yeah.
No, I get it. I don't watch a ton of movies. My movie references are all pretty dated, for sure. Like I reference Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones and Platoon on a regular basis.
I saw Platoon.
Platoon's great.
Yeah, I never saw Indiana Jones. Okay.
What? You've never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies?
No, I haven't seen Harry Potter either.
Aaron's eyes bug
Oh,
out.
my God.
You know this. Every time somebody comes in here and they go, "Hey, Stace, have you seen that?" And then he just interrupts everybody. Goes, "No, she has not. No, she has not." By the way, everybody, you're listening to Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. Well, the enlightenment part is on occasion.
Yeah.
Actually, today is going to be pretty enlightening because we're talking about sustainability. So we have Margaret in the house because Margaret has a blog, The Green Hedonist, which is the best freaking name in the world. Thank you very much. So her blog is all about teaching people how to live sustainably, but not necessarily, I mean, you do it on the cheap, but you have high-end experiences.
So it's for all those people who like to party with any of that pesky liberal guilt, right? Is that what it is?
Hey, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Although I'm not, I would have to say, I'm the green hedonist that doesn't, I'm like the Kanye West of the green hedonist. Of green hedonism, because I don't watch how much money I spend.
Well, not everybody does.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't necessarily watch how much money we spend either.
Yeah. But I think it's great. I mean, that's really why I had this show, is to show people, well, first of all, that you don't have to shop at Walmart. Like a lot of people think that, okay, I'm broke, I have to shop at Walmart. And that just that whole thing of sustainability and eating organically and all that other stuff is just for like honky liberals, right? Although I am one of those, and I'm cool with that. But I give a shout out to the honky liberals.
Yeah.
Woo, represent. But I thought I wanted to have this show so that people were aware that there were other ways to be have a life that is sustainable where you don't spend a bunch of money.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So, you know, for example, the same person who's shopping at Walmart because they think that that's all they can afford is the 77-cent can of organic beets. Is the same person who has a $250 a month cable TV package at home, or they've got a mobile phone that does everything except, you know, make their toast for them in the morning and all that
I
stuff.
have a toaster that puts a smiley face on your toast.
Oh,
That's the
see?
best. Oh my God! It also says "Eat me." I have another one that you put in a different plate, and then your toast comes out and it says "Eat me."
It says "Eat me."
I know.
Okay, that's a little rude.
So what is the mission of the Green Hedonist?
Yeah. The mission is to, you know, I should say that there is a mission because it sounds really noble. If I were to say, the mission, we're here to save the world. We're here to
love it,
change everything, except that that's not exactly what happened. What happened is we, and we is me and my family and everybody around me, we all like having a really kick-ass life. We like doing the same things everybody else does.
Right.
We go to movies, we travel, we eat good shit, we drink good local beer, we drink wine, we eat great, amazing cheese and food and restaurants and everything else. But I wanted to be able to do it in a way that didn't hurt anybody, basically. The example would be the coffee thing. One of the things that we do is we put out a series of posts called One Simple Thing, and it's one little teeny tiny minuscule thing that you can do to change up one thing about what you do. And one of the big things for me was coffee. Because coffee, Keegan would know. I mean, coffee is like next to petroleum. Coffee is like the leading export throughout the world, and most of the shit that you get, pardon my French, in the the big metal
that
can.
Ain't French. I speak French.
I know you do.
Okay.
And most of the stuff that you get in a regular store for 17 cents a pound or whatever it is they sell it for has an enormous cost. Environmentally, it has an enormous cost. Socially, there are actually people being hurt by this, and there's just bad stuff associated with it. And the whole green hedonist thing has been an art of getting away from things that are overtly damaging to people and to the planet just by making little tiny changes. You can change what kind of coffee you drink.
Because it can be overwhelming to look at all the harm that happens through, like you're worried that if you step to the right or step to the left in the wrong way, that you're going to step on something and hurt somebody.
That's
what I mean? Coffee hurts you, or your coffee hurts people somewhere. Your candy hurts people somewhere.
Right.
Your gas in your car hurts somebody somewhere. And it can be kind of overwhelming.
Although here's something I find somewhat kerfuffling here on campus. On campus. No, it's my.
No, that's what we use instead of saying
the F-bomb, because I have to edit out the audio here so that they can replay it on KMET radio here on campus, because we have 2 radio stations here on campus, here on Auraria campus. But we're at WCAS, and you're listening to Erin, Keegan, Stacy, and Margaret, and we're talking about sustainability. But one of the things is I'm like the garbage lady of campus. I'm not even being facetious. I like go through the freaking garbage as I walk out of the rooms, because it's free to just put your shit in the right container, and people don't put their shit in the right container. So now I'm like freaking garbage lady around here.
Yeah, but I think on a deeper level is that it's a question of value. Like I think that people don't. We've gotten so accustomed to this culture of cheap, fast, massive volume that we don't think about what's behind our products. And this idea of like creating consciousness around things is, I think, something that hoping I don't step on any like copyright toes, but
Feel free.
Working for Whole Foods for 13 years, like I've seen the impact that this consciousness can have. You talk about coffee, like coffee is one of the most exploited commodities in the world. And, the fair market value for coffee often, hovers around $2 to $3 a pound. And even when it's fair trade, it only gets up to, roughly $4 or $5 a pound. And speculators a couple of years ago started to throw numbers out into the market about coffee, and it spiked all the way up to $7, $8 a pound. But very little of that money was making it back to the producers, was making it back to the people that were actually producing coffee. And so, one of the things that we do at Whole Foods, and you can see this in any store, we have something called the Whole Trade Guarantee, which is it's a set of 5 standards that we hold above and beyond just fair trade. We don't have anything against fair trade. Fair trade's an outstanding organization, but they're doing a huge job, and there's not a lot of they don't look at things like worker welfare, which is one of our standards, and environmental sustainability, and equitable wages, and premium price. Like we're looking for the best products and paying the best price for them. And I think that when you do that, I think you create an automatic consciousness for people. They have to see that stuff, and they have to notice what that is. And it's harder to think about. It's harder to put that out of your mind, I would say, when it's on the product.
No, that's actually a good point. Like if you're paying, the price of something is a good indication of where it came, or you know what I mean? That it brings enlightenment. When somebody's going, oh my gosh, look at these huge chicken breasts I just got for 89 cents a pound, which actually makes me want to throw up in my mouth thinking about what kind of life that chicken had to live. You know what I mean? That it doesn't, it kind of takes you out of the whole thing, except for your glee that you're eating a huge chicken breast.
Well, and it's like, people don't, one of the big things that we push in the last few years has been this idea of healthy eating. And the healthy eating initiative was this idea of making it really, really simple for people to pick up great food and to get, good produce and to get good quality nutritional food that would enhance their life. And we've got this whole conversation about healthcare in this country and what's happening there, which is probably another radio show in and of itself. But if we look at just the preventative diseases that are going on in the country, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, all that kind of stuff, that's all reversible through diet. So you talk about value, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to spend the, $7 a pound on this broccoli, but I'm okay paying the $13,000 down the line to sit in a hospital and get pumped full of drugs.
My niece Rachel right now, she's in Omaha because her dad just had a heart attack. He smokes cigarettes. He smokes his face off. He's like in his 50s now. Really? And now he's going to have an open heart surgery. Oh, this is stunning. Oh, I have no idea. How did that happen? It's like you treat your body like a piece of shit. And what do you expect? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the coffee thing, but that was an excellent segue. By the way, you're really great on this. I'm a little surprised. And you have a good voice for radio. That's excellent.
Watch it.
Yeah, watch it. You have an excellent
superior.
voice. He has a great voice for radio.
You sort of sound like the guy in the movie previews. That guy. Yes.
Oh,
That's amazing.
No, and not only that.
One microphone.
That's so great. I'm going to have you say, oh my God, okay, we're going to just come in here and I'm going to have you say a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know, okay, so I would go, I need a price check on prune juice, Bob. I need a price check on prune juice. Okay, you say that in your voice.
I need one price check on prune juice. Clean up aisle 7. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, that's cool.
More.
And by the way, that's another thing I love about both of you guys is that whatever ideas I come up with, you guys are just always down. It's good. Okay, yeah, we'll roll with it. Okay, so first of all, let's get back to the coffee. But the next thing I'm going to get to, because this was an excellent segue from Keegan, good job, homie, is I want to talk about your science experiment that you did.
Oh, yeah, that brings us back to Whole Foods because we had this conversation, when was it? It was back in 2013.
In like September, when they were going to pull the farm bill. Or
we're not going to name any names, but we were hanging around someone who perhaps is on the opposite side of the political spectrum from us. And it was during the time when we had the...
Who, me and you?
Me and you, yeah.
Who was it?
We're not going to go into it.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Not going there.
No, wait.
Not saying.
Hold on.
La, 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 la.
I'll shut your mic off. Hold on one sec. You guys keep talking.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Bees. I don't know.
I
What are
know.
we talking about? I don't know.
I know. We were
I know.
hanging around somebody that was on the opposite end of the spectrum. And no, we won't talk about it because I'm so sweet. You could pour me over pancakes.
Yeah, you're
That's
nice.
why.
You're such a nice girl. Anyway, it was during the time when they unearthed
Wow.
this guy in Southern California who was spending, he was a professional lazy ass. He was a professional hanger out on beaches and was spending his food stamps on seafood. Do you remember him? Remember Lobster Boy?
Mm-mm.
The Lobster Boy was a guy that Fox News dredged up because he was allegedly spending his food stamp allocation on things like lobster and shrimp and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it became this whole thing where it culminated in this dinner we had where the person we were with said, "Do you know that Whole Foods Market accepts food stamps? Do you believe those poor people are shopping at Whole Foods Market?" You know, indignant, angry about this. And my first reaction was, "Oh, it's probably not your best value for your food stamps." But my second reaction was, "Well, why not?"
Mhm.
And so we took Eric and I took our $367 a month SNAP allocation.
Which that's how much people get. I mean, they didn't really do it. They just like envisioned it. Okay.
Okay.
No,
I'm
actually,
listening.
we really did it.
Really?
We took $367 and we
No, but not from the government.
not from the,
That's
we
what
didn't, we
that's
didn't
what
take the money.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
we took, I gotcha. So
Yeah.
we took we didn't go broke and quit our jobs. and
Yeah.
things like that. But so
or do like a food
Right.
stamp scam. Gear down.
no
big shifter.
scamming, no scamming.
By the way, you're listening to WCAS radio or area. It's that time of the hour. Go ahead.
Nicely.
Sorry.
So $367, and we vowed for an entire month to spend it only on food and only at Whole Foods. And so we had to be a little bit cautious. The whole thing is documented on the blog with the things that we could buy, the things that we didn't feel like we could buy. But the upshot of it was we had no problem at all shopping entirely at Whole Foods for a month, eating incredibly healthy food. We both lost a little weight. Our blood pressure went down. Our cholesterol went down. We ate crazy great meals, and we would do it again, you know? And so
Nice.
the whole thing of the derogatory term for Whole Foods is whole paycheck. No, the whole thing about whole paycheck and not being able to shop there is really quite ridiculous, and we had fun disproving that.
Yeah, I'm actually a metro educator. That's my position now, and I do a lot of new hire training. And one of the things that we teach, sort of as they're coming into the onboarding process, is we teach them how to shop Whole Foods on a budget. Because you'd be surprised at how many team members feel like they can't shop when they first start, but after a while, you start to see like, oh wow, there is value here. And I think it's two-sided. I think there's the one side of just like the pure costing, and we've worked really hard as Whole Foods to bring that costing. I don't know if you guys have seen the produce prices recently, but they have come way down, and that was
it's not going to be an overnight thing.
Right.
You know, I grew up in Southwest Denver, like in the suburbs near Columbine High School, somewhat, okay? And this is a very very middle class neighborhood. And the idea of there being to use more like 80s and 70s type of terminology of there being like a health food store or something like that in the neighborhood is something that wouldn't have occurred to anyone. That's like, oh, sure, in like the downtown area or like over in Wash Park where all the rich folks live, they have their fancy health food store, or like up there in Boulder where all the crazy hippies live and stuff like that. And now,
I love how you were just 4 different people, buddy.
oh well,
That was
no,
awesome.
but now there's a Whole Foods that has opened up there. Sprouts has become a major company. King Soopers and Safeway have started carrying
Yeah, and
organic
incidentally,
foods.
if you look next time you're in a conventional shop like that, look at their font and look at the way that they merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
It all looks like Whole Foods.
Yeah,
It
because
looks
it works.
exactly like it. Yeah.
Because people are into it, and because consciousness is evolving towards people taking better care of themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a process, and awareness in and of itself is transformative.
Yeah.
And I think that idea of health food, health, there I go saying it again, but healthy food,
Mhm.
Being accessible and affordable is that is an old, outdated type of stereotype of the overpriced kind of new agey hippie health food store. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
anymore.
No, it's not. And one of the things that I love teaching to our new hires is about do you guys know we opened a store in Detroit?
Mhm.
We were the first supermarket in Detroit proper.
To
I didn't
come,
know
to
that.
come, to
Very
come back
first.
to Detroit.
Yeah.
By the way, she's from
I'm
Detroit.
from Detroit.
Oh, wow, really?
My
Yeah.
brother
Cool. Have
lives
you been
in
to the
Detroit.
store?
I was really pleased to read that.
Isn't that awesome?
It's-
Yeah, and it has been fantastically successful. Like the community, and a lot of it has been about this idea of like talking about the investment in the health. Like it's not just you don't simply go and buy food and you look at it and you go, okay, this is healthy for me, and I'm spending $80 gajillion on it. Yay! Like you have to know like that there's a quality in that and there's a value in that, and that's a really powerful driver for people to buy that kind of thing when they understand the quality and why they're paying that extra price, because they're not eating garbage. It's like we teach in healthy eating that people eat these empty calories constantly. They're just shoveling them in their faces, Twinkies and soda and just all that stuff. And when you're doing that, your body literally thinks it's not getting any food. It thinks it can't sustain itself, and so it wants more, and so you put more crap in your face. It's like, but when you start eating healthy and you start eating whole food that has nutrients and feeds your body, you find that you don't need to eat as much. You don't feel nearly as hungry half the time. It's kind of an amazing, I don't know, it's been really amazing for me, the whole journey. When I started, my dad was a bachelor, and I ate a lot of like hamburger gravy and Kraft singles. Like that was my world,
What is hamburger gravy?
It's literally like hamburger, flour, water, salt, and pepper, and you just like mix it together. Yeah, it has another name. It's called ship on a shingle.
Oh, nice.
Chippy
Okay.
beef on toast, man.
Yeah,
Eric, can you do like a
absolutely.
little
Yeah.
ship horn every time? you say it?
Oh my God!
Very good.
You are really,
really
good at this, dude.
You missed your calling. You gotta call Pixar, man.
No,
Yeah, I know.
he actually is a rock star. He all the music that's on my stuff. That's
Oh, wow.
my homie there.
Yeah, but we're all being replaced by computers. All the real good voiceover guys, man. It's just robots taking over the business, man.
You are. Oh my God, that's
Taking
my
our
soul brother.
bang,
yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
Okay, so let's. Okay, so we've talked about you were talking about eating real food. We're talking about grocery shopping, although I loved Mile High Organics and they went away. The grocery
Yeah.
delivery, do you know why they went away?
No.
Okay, I don't know either. Okay, well now I get door-to-door organics and they only deliver once a week. I loved that Mile High Organics came to my commie little pinko neighborhood 4 days a week. I can't move. I've thought about moving. I'm like, where would you get more liberals than Park Hill? I don't really know. 5 points.
You don't want to have like the growing experience of being faced up against people with divergent opinions.
Nope.
You don't want that at all.
I get my news from the HuffPost.
Yeah.
And
that's
then NPR. Yeah, my little insulated commie liberal pinko little. Love it. I love it. I don't want to learn anything else. As a matter of fact, I really don't want to learn anything else. When people are recommending books to me right now, I'm like, I will read that in May.
I've learned all the things that I need to learn ever.
Ever. No,
I'm
I'm
set.
like, my brain is full of like neuropsychology and I'm like over it, man.
Like
I'm done.
it sounds like if I set like someone who like watches nothing but Fox News in this room and had them like recite their ethos as far as
I would puke.
yeah, well, right, but I'm saying you're saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I've learned all that I need to learn. And,
Oh yeah. I'm as close-minded as they are. And I'm aware. I am fully aware.
I was just
Except for I would hug and kiss them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that to me. Let's see. Oh, hold on. When I tell Aaron this, I didn't even think about the correlation. Guess who he's the TA for?
Oh, my dreamboat, my man crush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves Dr. Heath so much. We have audio from him all the time on the show, and like every time he calls it a broner.
Whoa,
What a brain
Let's
babe.
tone it down a little bit. Love Dr. Heath. That's a little strong.
He
No.
calls
No,
it
me.
a broner.
Yeah.
He's,
What, you
You're
love Dr.
insinuating I love him
No.
No,
because
no.
I'm his TA.
no.
No,
Oh, I got it.
Aaron.
He's a brain babe. He's,
Yeah. It's true.
He
And
is
it
a-
grows directly out of his head. That's the love of
You
the
know-
dreadlocks. That's knowledge dreadlocks.
Yep.
Right. I thought so.
Knowledge
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him. The girls, it's
How
so
can you not?
And
He's like
he's-
the
oh, no.
nicest guy that ever lived.
totally. He's not that nice to me.
Well,
but I'm
yeah,
okay
that's because
with
you're
it.
not nice to anyone either.
I've got a picture of
That's
him
not
hanging
true.
up in my locker.
That's so crazy.
So much.
That's so awesome. I saw him in the centerfold of Tiger Beat.
I even got a locker just so I could have a picture of Dr. Heath.
I don't have anything else.
I don't even.
Nothing
Nothing else
in the
is in
locker.
there.
Listen,
Just
we
the
took a
picture.
locker.
By the way, I tell him that we have these conversations. I do. It's so funny. I'm
Does he
like,
get embarrassed?
no, he
No,
just
not at all.
laughs
He loves
about it. He totally eats that up. He's totally, yeah. Well, and it's funny because the girls will come up to me, like they're, because they're younger and everything, and they're like, oh my God, he's so hot. And I'm like, how can you have a crush on him when you know like how like awesome his family life is and everything? Like, don't you just wish him the best? And they're like, nah, I just want to bone him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Wow.
And speaking of,
Boning.
no, I'm getting boned. Look at that. F minus plus.
Oh yeah, you got boned royally.
Yeah, speaking
It was originally an F minus minus,
I know.
but I wanted to give her a little bit of hope for the future.
I know. Well, and I'll have that hope. That's I'm writing that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Rule against effing students that hard, Keegan? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
There probably is, but when you're a TA, you're given a lot of liberties.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow.
Because
Okay.
I'm not really
The
accountable.
power must feel good.
Well, it's Travis. It's accountable. So
Right. Okay, so I'm going to play something for all of our listeners. Hold on. So good. I love this stuff. Have you seen this before?
This is one of the 5 movies that Stacy has seen.
Right. This is Keegan grading my paper.
I don't wear a hat like that. There's too many feathers in that hat.
You can rock it though.
I might be able to get away
Yeah,
with
you
it.
probably could.
I do cry a lot when I grade. That's true. A lot of
I
tears.
can believe it.
Yeah.
Up. This is my paper when I'm done.
I hope that nobody is listening from class because they're going to be really freaked out.
God. Thing that tells time. Your poetry.
That's so appropriate for you. The cheese factor is so high in the room right now.
Indeed. You're welcome there, buddy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. A plus.
And this is about sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
just
So getting
no,
it-
but I just put together the Dr. Heath thing because that's his broner.
is getting an F, is that on par with being told no for you, Stacy?
And even getting a C is kind of like telling me.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like you had to negotiate that second plus, right? Because it wasn't F minus
I didn't.
minus.
He just threw me a bone.
Oh, he threw you a bone.
Well, I could see the tears welling up in her eyes.
Oh yeah, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it at all.
That's funny.
What Stacy wants, Stacy gets.
I've heard that. You know what? I actually don't mind having that. I mean, if that's like the thing out in the universe, what Stacy wants, Stacy gets. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm
cool with that. I'm
Write
down.
it out.
You know what? Let's go to another break. The next thing I want to talk about, because we were talking about eating healthy and stuff like that, but she's a master composter. You're a gardener. We're going to talk about that next. You're listening to Social Penetration.
Whoa, I don't know about a gardener. That's kind of a strong.
That's right.
I have gardened.
Okay. That's right.
I am a
You're a gardener. Okay. I want to do a garden this year in May.
In May. Everything's in May. Is that before or after we go to Occupy?
No, that's in May.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. There are safe,
Life begins
simple
in
ways your child can help
I thought that
stop
was
bullying. Tell a
I
trusted
did too. I
adult,
was
like
like,
a
I didn't
family
know she
member,
was-
teacher, or coach. Help the one being bullied get away. Be a friend to the person being bullied.
I'll stop when I want to stop.
Don't bully
Oh,
others.
and what are you gonna say? Something
Don't
about
give a bully
smoking?
an audience.
Yeah, big fleshy meat stogies.
StopBullying.com to learn more safe, simple ways your child can be more
That
than
might be
a
the
bystander.
worst description of penis I've
Message
ever
from the
heard.
Ad Council.
A throbbing meat stogie.
Although I do love
Did you know
sticks
that
of
17
underwear.
million
I
people
think that is the
dogs
funniest
or cats in the next
in the
year?
world.
I'm gonna have to go in about a quarter after.
Okay,
Lives
so why
in
don't
shelters.
we,
However,
actually, we'll
The
talk
percentage
first
of
then
pets in homes
about
adopted from
why
animal
I asked you
shelters
to come here.
and
What
rescue
made you
groups
think of
has
having
risen
me?
from
Yeah, I want to
27%
hear about
to
cheese.
29%
That's not
in
even
the
why,
last
but
2
yeah, we
years.
can do that too.
Encouraging
You
statistics
get mac
show
and
that
cheese?
euthanasia of
I
shelter
haven't
pets
really wanted
has
I really want to try
Actually,
it.
my buddy's son.
since
Wait, don't talk,
2009.
don't say it.
My buddy's
No,
son.
don't say it.
Can make a difference in the life of a
Well, I'm not
shelter
gonna say
pet.
anything about the
A
cheese.
person is the best thing to
I
happen
know,
to
it's
a
a
shelter pet. Be that person.
Yeah.
At the top.
I really
Brought to you
want
by
to try
the Ad Council,
Oh, I do too.
Shelter
I don't
Pet
know.
Project,
There's
You
a
gotta
huge
know
festival.
somebody.
CAS
There's a huge
Radio.
festival around it.
Like it's like,
Hold on,
Like-
don't
Let's
say
make a
it.
difference.
okay, all right.
Live united.
Don't tell her.
United Way is creating
I was like,
real,
don't tell-
lasting change and doing
don't
it
tell me
while you
anything.
live,
I want a
by
Rice
focusing
Krispie.
on the building
Okay.
blocks of a
Are there
better
really
life.
Rice Krispie treats in that?
Education,
They're for
income,
homeless
and
people
help.
in the alley.
Help create
Oh, well, that's, they don't need
everyone
these
in the
things.
community.
They need
That's
to
As we
go to
talk
Whole
about
Foods.
health.
Right?
Yeah, they need to go to Whole
United
Foods and
Network
get some
Yeah.
A
healthy
public service
foods.
message brought to you by
Hey,
the
listen, I had
and the
6
Ad
cups of
Council.
salad today, so.
I'm not judging.
range.
Hey man, I love
That's
this.
right.
This girl,
Just
this
a
girl
second.
had like a
Another
smoothie
kid
with like
dropped out of
this
school.
most perfect amount of
We
like
do nothing.
broccoli and fruit
3.5
and stuff
million
for
kids won't
breakfast,
receive
and then
a
I had
diploma over the
Reese's
next
Pieces for
4
lunch.
years.
Awesome.
United Way knows that kids who
Junk
don't earn
food is
adult in
my-
their life
is
are
my
more
wife's.
likely to make it.
I
Oh, I
have
love
sugar,
it.
And the
sugar
difference
right
between
now.
the dropout
I'm
and
like,
graduate.
Oh,
and
it's
it's
awesome.
so weird when I
Take the
am
pledge
done
to
with school,
volunteer
like
now
the
at
week that I was done with school.
unitedway.org. Brought to you
I'm
by
like,
the United
oh,
Way,
this
the
is
Ad
so
Council, and
disgustingly
WCAS
sweet,
Radio.
you know, because you're not stressed
WCAS
anymore.
cares
and,
what
you
counts.
know, fucked up.
Are you one of the millions of Americans
It's my
who's
buddy
a little
Mikey.
afraid of the internet?
That's why
Or
you
you
might
feel
have
it's
my
just
I'm
not
not
for you? Or maybe you think it's all too much and don't know where to begin learning.
Oh,
Did you know
I
that many companies post job openings online
Mike
only?
is
I'm
like
not afraid
chisel
of
jaw.
Shut you down.
Mike is like the best looking dude. I mean, like he's been like
He is
chisel
really
jaw,
good looking.
isn't he?
Like really good looking.
More information. Visit
Like he's almost the lady.
And no, and not only that, but and I'm going to talk about him while we're there.
classes in your area. Or call 1-855-EBRY1ON
Because he knows how good looking he is
to
because people treat him like
learn
shit.
more.
And you-
This has been a public service message brought to you by Connect to Compete and by WCAS
Yeah. I
Radio.
feel his pain, man.
That's so. No, but people.
Just like, hello, I'm up here.
No, it was.
My ball, or eyeballs, not my balls. Okay?
That was brilliant.
Oh my God! You are saying that again, Mr. Smarty Pants.
WCAS.
You are. Let's bring it. No, okay. So I'm gonna say what we were talking about before. Michael Ronnebaum, who I do a morning show with on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Michael Ronnebaum.
Mike on the mic in the morning. Super cool dude. Mike is, well, he's a chick. I mean,
He's beautiful.
You're kind of a chick.
He's a
No, but
beautiful
I don't
man.
even mean like the way he looks. I mean, he is a
Oh, a sensitive man.
awesome dude.
Yeah.
I love the crap out of that kid.
Yeah.
And
Why is that a chick? Why does that have to be a
I
woman?
love it.
How come a man just can't own that intrinsically because he's a man?
I love it.
He
though.
has to be a chick?
Oh, sorry, dude.
How about we're just sensitive
You're just
guys?
sensitive guys.
Come on,
okay.
man.
Sorry.
Who
Keegan.
also happen to
Hold on.
tend to attract women who are a little on the male gender role type of stuff. I'm just saying, generally across, I do tend to attract women who wear the pants sometimes, but I think it goes back and forth though, like from being like a man to to being like a sensitive,
I love how
conscious.
sensitive you are. I do. I don't really have any.
My friends
unsensitive
call
guys.
me the leaf dancer.
And you are mad that I call you guys
My
chippy,
friends
and they
used
call
to.
you the leaf dancer.
My
I'm
friends
just
used to
saying,
call
you don't
me-
have to pigeonhole my gender,
Okay,
okay?
I won't.
All
anymore.
this second
Hold
wave
on.
feminism.
I'm
all
still
right.
gonna do it to everybody else, just not you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're.
Yeah. I
My
just
friends
wanna
used
do
to
it
call
so that
me
I don't get ripped
feelings.
into one.
My friends used to call me feelings.
That's what.
Are you
Like,
gonna
what's-
sing
what's
a
happening?
song?
Like I get sentimental about something, they'd be like, whatever feelings, or whatever moments.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Kind of rolling their eyes at my sentimentality.
No, but Mike is a sentimental dude. Mike is like a really heartfelt, awesome dude. As a matter of fact, he like is the one. The way all this ended up being okay. So I walked in here one day, and I had some gloves. I had a box of gloves. Okay, and Mike goes, "Hey, what are you doing with all those?" And I'm like deer in the headlights because I don't want to make up anything that I'm doing, but I don't necessarily want to tell him what I'm doing either, right? And he's like, "You're giving those to all the homeless people, right?" And I'm like, yeah. And so he was like, "Well, let's do it out the window." And then I was like, "Well, then if we're going to do it out the window, let's write love notes on them and we'll call them G loves." Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what the sticky notes are for, is we put love notes on them and then hand them out the window. But then they started asking us for other stuff. And so ergo the toilet paper and the other stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One asked us for lotion. Oh my God,
See,
that reminds
I-
me.
No, lotion? No.
Hold on. And that was my response. We were live, and I was like, "Well, why don't you just ask for lube, dude?"
Don't write love notes on the lotion.
No,
Leave
right?
those off.
Leave those off. Actually, no, but I went to the health center, and they're donating 120 condoms, and it made me email over to the hotel that we have here on campus, and I asked them for all their lotions and stuff like that, but those turds haven't gotten back to me yet. And I suppose they wouldn't if they're listening right now and contemplating whether or not they were going to get back to me. But yeah, that's what happens here. Mike on the mic in the morning, end up giving out stuff.
See, I'm not
Because there's a soup
I'm not
kitchen
that
line out there.
sensitive.
No, he's super sensitive.
See, I'm not that sensitive.
So he's like a super
I'd
kind.
be like, what am I going to do with this big box of gloves? I don't know. Dumpster? Dumpster.
Dumpster. No, you would not.
If hobos want them, I guess they can.
No. If you had a line of 100 people out here at a soup kitchen and you had, a box of gloves, you know what I mean? You'd give it up.
Okay, that's
Come on.
different.
Although-
if they were right out here, but I would not go out of my way to organize it. So I'm not that sensitive.
Well, we're not organizing.
I'm not
We're just
that-
handing it out the window.
Yeah, just out the window.
So check this out. In our nice, cushy, warm studio, we hand stuff out to people. Well, so it was funny that Mike, so I bring in this box and it has like Chinese writing all over it. And I'm like, okay, so these like first graders in China probably had to knit these sons of bitches. And now we're giving, you know what I mean?
Right?
I'm like, Jesus
Speaking of
Christ.
sustainability,
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize
Yeah,
it was
okay.
coming from China.
See what that makes me think of. Okay, I had a roommate for a bit. All right, and we don't live together anymore. But she's a lovely, lovely girl, and she's
Amber?
yeah.
Okay.
Amber,
I mean.
Schmamber. And she's in grad school and she's studying to be an expressive art therapist, and she is very much a, as you like to put it, a pinko commie liberal,
Mhm.
like big time. And there was one time I was at the grocery store picking up groceries, and she's on the phone just going, and make sure you get the organic kale, and make sure you get the cage-free eggs, and make sure you get the cruelty-free chicken. And I cut her off in the middle of it, and I was like, Amber, you and I split a teener of cocaine the other night that I'm pretty sure turned a kid's face into a soccer ball at some point on its trip up to the United States. So please,
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm just saying, in all seriousness, that tends to be the thing with the sustainability and I'm just talking about the intrinsic hypocrisy in like American, like Western liberal type of thinking. The we love everyone who loves everyone, but if you don't, you better watch out because we're gonna get you. You know what I mean? That type of, if you like, there have been times where, okay, I think I've told you this example before. I was hanging out at Mutiny Information Cafe one night, which is my favorite coffee shop and bookstore. I was hanging out there one night, and there was a very young, kind of very PC, crust punk, bluegrassy punk rock band playing at Mutiny. And there's a young lady who's there to see the show, and I'm sitting there, and we're talking to someone. And I was commenting on some of the patches on her jacket, and we ended up getting into discussion, and she turned out to be really cool. And I turned to my friend who's behind the bar, and I go, this chick's really cool, man. Let's have her back anytime. And then she goes, excuse me, chick? Did you just call me a chick? That's not cool. That's what's wrong with this country. Starts unloading on me. And,
Did
you
it hurt
know,
your feelers?
well,
Like it just hurt mine?
it did hurt me. And more so, it polarized me.
Okay.
And it went, huh, you know, we were just two people, two human beings having a conversation at first. And then you made me feel like SHIT about myself. And so guess which side of the fence I'm on from you now? So when I hear about a lot of this, when I hear the intrinsic hypocrisy of, you know, liberal sustainability arguments and stuff like that, a lot of people take it too far and kind of wave their finger
Agreed.
in people's face
Agreed.
and polarize the other side instead of an approach of inclusion and
Agreed.
dialogue.
Agreed. Of course you don't do that, buddy. That's one of my favorite things about you.
No, but the best thing about having spent so much time with you, Stace, is knowing about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, because I no longer say that person's. I no longer have as much of a tendency to say, "Oh, that guy's just an asshole." I now can say, "Oh, that's an INTJ. That's just how they are."
Right. Yeah.
And I can be around more people with more different opinions. I actually don't like extremists on either end. I don't read HuffPost and I don't watch Fox News because I think that they're both incendiary and they both pit us against each other.
I do see that. Well, and
No,
here's the thing though that I can see through. It's like when so when that thing happened with Brian Williams and the HuffPost was trying really hard to go after Bill O'Reilly, I was like, you guys. Well, first of all, he wasn't as revered as Brian Williams was anyway.
At the same time, you have to have the extremes in order to draw the line of where the line is. You know what I mean? Like if we didn't have people on the extreme sides, then the moderates would not exist.
Well, and
we
that's
wouldn't
how
know what was in between.
that's how I find out where my boundaries are is by crossing them all the time.
all the time.
All the time. I mean, I just go, okay, I'll just cross it and see what happens, and then go from there.
Well, I would like them to have their own, space, their own planet. Maybe we could have Planet Fox News on one side,
like North
Planet
Dakota.
HuffPost. Yeah, and then
Canada.
something equally nice for the other side because
Maybe somewhere at the center of the sun.
Detroit pre-Whole Foods.
what they
Detroit pre-Whole Foods.
Because what ends up happening is we get caught up in this argument about there's this guy, there's that guy, there's I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna demonize you if you don't agree with me. And it just, honest to God, if you look at where we are now as a species and where we are now with the planet, nobody's got time for this stuff.
Yeah.
Honest to God, nobody has time for this.
No, it's agreed. Okay, so we're gonna change the topic because well, first of all, because Keegan's got to take off. So, but here's the thing. So Keegan's going camping in a couple of weeks, right? And he said that you guys are doing a pig, and that you wanted to kill the pig. Like, how would you? I mean, which is the ultimate in locavore. But tell me where your mindset is coming from, and then I want to see your guys' take on it too.
Well, first of all, we're not doing the hog now.
Why?
So just
You're
didn't
gonna
work
do
out.
a tofu?
We're going to. The plan is we're going to this summer. We're going to do one this summer.
Cool.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sort of fascinated by this old world style of living. Like I grew up. My grandfather was a Palisade peach farmer. My other grandfather was a cattle rancher in Eagle County. And I grew up around this stuff, but I never really I was too young to really get into it. My grandfather sold his ranch when I was young, and my peach farmer grandfather got rid of his orchard when I was young. And so I never really got a chance to dig into this stuff. And then it just kind of turned into, city living, and I just it wasn't around. And since working at Whole Foods, I've had this sort of resurgence back to a real interest in that stuff. And I mean, I think a lot of people are really out of touch with what it means to sit down and eat a pork chop, to sit down and eat a hamburger. That was an animal. That was a living animal. And you look at, the factory farming thing. I know that there's there's a wide spectrum of people on that as well. There's kind of polarized ideas about, animal welfare and stuff like that. And, but the reality is that like, it's been a food that we've eaten for millennia, and it's something that we've done for a really long time. And I think we've grown so apart from it that we don't even understand what's involved in that. And so I have this thing about, like, I want to go kill an elk too. Like, I'm not a hunter. I don't want guns.
I don't want to sit in a deer blind and shoot a deer
and
from
like
the distance.
Chew Copenhagen and stuff. But I want to go like hunt and like kill something and then like have to like dress it and take it home.
Give it reverence.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Reverence.
Yeah.
No, but wait a minute. Hold on. Why do people have to chew Copenhagen or whatever to be a hunter? Because one of the people, they did a interview on NPR where it was women that are starting to become hunters.
And they chew Copenhagen.
No, they do not. No, they do not. They chew double bubble. No.
And they scare the deer away
Yeah, I
because it's so
know,
much
it's
louder
louder.
than chewing
They're like, oh my
Copenhagen.
God, he's so cute. Bang.
Okay, nice. Wow, you have the whole voice thing. It must be contagious.
Yeah.
I don't do that. But no, when I was listening to this thing on NPR, where I get my Comedy Little Pinko News, it was fascinating because, I don't want to own a gun either, although I do not oppose hunting at all because I really think it's the ultimate in being a locavore. But this whole thing was about this whole resurgence or insurgence, because it wasn't in the first place, of women that are beginning to be hunters because of that whole thing where, there's paying reference to the animal, and it's the ultimate in being a locavore, really.
Well, and you can't get any more, you can't get any more natural than doing something like that. I think the problem, or at least part of the problem, is that we're just getting so popular. The population is getting so big that not everybody can be a hunter. We start letting everybody hunt, and pretty soon there are no more elk. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think there's a balance in there somewhere. And I think that raising animals is somewhere in that middle ground. And I think learning how to sustainably raise animals, and I'll tell you, like, there's nothing more awesome than like actually seeing an animal, seeing it alive, and like looking at it and seeing it as a living being, and then going through the whole process of like, turning that into food for people. And there is a real honor in it. There is a real like honoring of that animal. It's super intense. Like, if you watch videos of like farm slaughter, like obviously like factory farming, I don't want anything to do with, but you watch like just a farmer like slaughter a hog or slaughter a cow. It's like, it's a pretty intense,
It returns the
serious
significance
process.
to the process of preparing food.
I don't think I honestly, I already, since I quit drinking, I can't eat big pieces of meat anymore, which is just like, I don't
That's
know.
what I heard.
Yeah, right? I know, tube steaks, smothered in underwear.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. Something just, and it's not because I have anything against it. It's just, I don't.
Yeah, but that's normal.
Right.
You look at meat eating 100 years, 150 years
That's
ago.
a dietary preference.
Well, and it was like 150 years ago. You didn't eat meat like we do now.
No.
You ate meat once in a while,
Right.
because raising a cow was hard.
Yeah.
It took a lot of resources,
yeah.
a long time, and what you ate in the meantime was you ate a lot of vegetables and a lot of grains and a lot of legumes and that sort of thing. You ate a lot of dairy, those sorts of things. But like killing an animal and actually like turning it into meat and eating it is a huge process that takes a lot of resources.
Oh yeah.
And meat is an accent. Meat is designed.
Yes.
When we did the Whole Foods, the food stamp challenge, Eric doesn't eat meat, but I do. And meat regains its proper place in our diet. So you have meat as an accent. You have some really, really good sausage in a pasta sauce, or you have, a little piece of fish surrounded by some really fantastic vegetables and side dishes. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
That's not how we've been the last 30 years in
Right.
this country, where you have to have the 24-ounce.
Come on down and try the 72-ounce steak challenge with a baked potato and a side salad.
And you get a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You get a t-shirt.
You eat this entire 72-ounce steak in under an hour, and your own
Oh
table
my
eats
God.
for free. And get your name
I
on
knew
the
you
wall
guys
of
would love
fame.
each other. That's
And
so
we'll
fun.
call the ambulance for you.
That's right.
That's so crazy.
I was just in Amarillo, and I really wanted to go to the Westerner, or whatever the name of the restaurant is, where they have the 72-ounce steak challenge. I think that's what they're famous for. Like, if you can eat a 72-ounce steak with a baked potato and a dessert and a salad and all of this, like
Gross.
we glorify being able
Uh-huh.
to eat
gluttonous.
that much meat.
I always say though that one day I'm going to have a farm and I'm going to have a cow I like and a cow I don't like. And the cow I like, I'm going to get the cheese and all that other stuff. And the cow I don't like, I'm going to eat it.
See, but then
You know that the cow you don't like, once you eat it, is gone. You don't get to, you got to make that come back if you want to do that again.
Well, at least it lasts like a couple years in
And
the
you'll be
freezer or
eating,
whatever.
you'll be eating your own words too. Think about that. like hating that cow is going to change the physical properties of the
Probably,
meat,
right.
and you're gonna end up like getting some weird bowel obstruction from being mean to that cow.
I'm
Well,
not
you
going
know-
to be mean to it. I just won't like it. I won't tell it.
Oh, silent contempt changes the physical properties.
It's all about the energy. It's all about the energy.
By the way, you are listening to Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment. Here on WCAS Radio, we have Aaron Howell from Heavy Mental Coaching.
Hi.
We have Keegan Walker, who give me an F minus minus. Not that I'm bitter, but he also has worked at Whole Foods for 13 years. And what's your title there?
Right now, I'm a metro educator.
Metro educator.
And a cheese expert.
Me, I'm a day maker.
I am a American Cheese Society certified cheese professional as well.
Can we talk about maggot cheese?
Oh yes, we are going to talk about maggot cheese. And Margaret, the Green Hedonist, that's me, my homie. And by the way, okay, so we are going to talk about maggot cheese, but I want Margaret to tell what she wrote me into one night that was actually really fascinating, and I wasn't grossed out by that. But go ahead.
We went down to the Modern Art Museum in Denver because they had a 2-day, actually a 3-day event where you start with a buffalo on the first day, and you see the buffalo, and they butcher that. It wasn't alive; it was dead when we all walked in there. I was kind of expecting them to butcher it, but so we have a buffalo carcass, and we got to see them dissect the buffalo carcass the very first night. Second night, some of the greatest chefs in Denver took the meat and created these fabulous dishes with it, and the all around it was a couple of days of education about meat, about the animal, about local food, about everything else. And it was really an exercise in getting back to this is where your meat comes from. This is why you should honor it. This is the proper way to use it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
It was fantastic.
It was super cool. And when I say
That
broke
bridges
in,
the gap too. You know what I mean? It bridges the gap between the Ted Nugent types, and then like
PETA.
PETA. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
and it was Jimmy the Butcher from Marsix.
Oh,
who
really?
is- I love that guy.
Well, no, it totally, because both sides of that argument can agree on one, higher idea, which is that, our food needs to be, animals need to be treated with reverence and with respect, and as, they are the essence of life, on this planet. And I really like that a lot, that the Modern Art Museum did
Yeah.
that.
And well, go ahead.
2 weeks ago, I was herding cattle on a horse.
Nice.
Like my aunt she raises heifers over on the western
nice.
slope.
Nice.
And we were literally like chasing calves down, and I was on a horse, like running around. It was awesome.
And I have the perfect boots for that.
Oh my God. You would literally get run. A horse would beat you up for wearing those.
My
on.
buddy has horses in Arizona, and I always get complimented on how great my boots are. Because I have several
Keegan,
pairs of
did
great
Jack
boots.
Palance have doubts about you at first, but then he grew into love and respect you?
He did. He did. He gave me a gold nugget at the end of the day.
Did he call you Mitchie the Kid?
He did. Yeah. I wore that. It was mostly because of the hat. It was,
Well, no, and when I was saying I got roped in, I didn't mean that I was going to go do something that I didn't want to do. But I thought that they were going to butcher it too, and I really couldn't. I mean, my dog just had acupuncture today. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but you're not eating your dog. That's the thing. It's like
No.
everybody wants to categorize like livestock animals into this category of pets.
Wait, her husband doesn't eat cows because he thinks they're cute.
That's okay. Look, I'm not trying to judge it. I'm just saying, like, there's again, it's about balance, right? There's a balance in it. Like, you can choose not to eat it, but it's like, I think lumping everything in there is lumping in a category of, a commodity that's as much a part of human beings as anything in our species. And like, I think that when we start having this like personifying animals in this way, and I'm sure that I'm just there's probably like PETA people just like flipping out right now, but it's like that they're not like, it's not the way. That's like, they're not people. And I think that when we start doing that, we start cutting ourselves off from a lot of good opportunities to feed people. And the reality is right now on this planet is that we've got a lot of people and a lot of them aren't getting fed. And there's a huge disparity in that. And part of the reason is that we have grown, so accustomed to that, to having meat and having that whole thing together, and preserving this life. Like, did you know that 80% of the wheat and 80% of the wheat and 85% of the corn in this country goes to feed livestock animals? You could feed the world 3 times over with that. And that's not to say that we shouldn't eat animals. It means we should stop having this pendulum swing between categorizing them as like these next to human things and just a commodity. Like there's a middle ground in that, and honoring them as an animal, which is what they are, and then also being willing to slaughter them and eat them. That there's, that's a balance in there, I think, somewhere.
Everything in the universe serves a purpose.
Aaron, is that a PETA?
You know what I mean?
Is that a pack of PETA people right outside the window?
Oh,
Well, no, and
they want the gloves.
Right.
They're here for the gloves.
I don't think so. They're looking at Keegan's
Right.
well, their fingers get cold because they're all anemic.
You're making me nervous.
That's right. But honestly, I must personify them because I'm totally just thinking about like killing a deer or like a bear or a cow, and the minute I like look into their eyes, like so I don't own horses, but my buddy does in Arizona. When I look in the horse's eyes, I mean, I have a reverence for the animal because it's just like a stately, beautiful, muscular thing that's going to take me around on hiking trails and whatnot. But I love it already, just like looking in its soul. And
yeah, but look, there are Native Americans did that in this country. Indians did that in this country for thousands of years prior to us. Aborigines, when they kill something, they have there's an entire gathering of the tribe around that animal to honor that animal for sustaining life for them, for bringing them life.
You're not letting the animal do its job.
That's right.
Serve its purpose.
No, but wait till you hear this. I'm not saying that you guys aren't right. I'm saying like literally it makes me like want to cry. I mean, like
because you're totally not in touch with it.
Okay.
If you've seen a cow get slaughtered, if you've seen a pig get slaughtered, it's not that big a deal. Like, people are always like, the thing, this is gonna make me sound like so bad, but people are always like, oh my God, my cat, I had to put my cat down, my dog, I had to put my dog. We shot 55 cats before I was 4 years old. Like, that was like a common occurrence where I came from, because they would get hit by a car and they would be suffering. There would be way too many of them. They would be like born with defects. Like, my grandfather killed more horses than I can tell you because he was a rancher. And when you have something in front of you that needs to be taken care of, sometimes that means there's something wrong with it and it needs to be taken out of its suffering. But sometimes it means we need to eat. Like, we've got to eat, and so we've got to kill this thing to eat. And when you are close to it like that, you don't have that.
No, I'm agreeing. I just don't. I don't want to. I mean, like, I just don't. I honestly, it's like, I get that. Like, that's not offensive to me that like a cat is suffering, or they got hit by a car, or there's too many of them.
Or you're just bored.
Right, or you just, for shits and giggles, I think I'm just going to say.
Those were more the prairie dogs,
Yeah.
not so many cats.
I let my dog go after prairie dogs all the time. It's great. There's just something where I probably should just be a vegetarian because I feel this way. I mean, really.
Why? I mean, why though? I mean, it's something that we've been doing as a species. I mean, our green hedonist. I mean, can you eat meat? So I mean, there's some kind of a balance in there, right? Of like not going all the way over to that other side of like, we can't touch these things because they're alive, and also like, let's not eat 8 million of them every day.
Right. Yep. I'm not an extremist, and I'm not an extremist in any way, shape, or form, as a matter of fact. And that's because I'm able to see, because my Myers-Briggs type is INFP, and we are able to see all sides of every situation and find the beauty in any side of any situation. Even my friends who are on the political right, even my friends who are Fox News people, they are in love with this country. They love a certain vision of America, and they move toward that. And I have a different vision, and I move toward that, and it's all fine. Well, I eat meat, but I'm not certain if push came to shove, I'm not certain how hungry I would have to be before I could do the killing. But I don't. It doesn't make me cry. It just makes me say, no, I'm not the best choice for that job.
Yeah, and but here's the thing. It doesn't upset me that other people do it.
Right.
I'm just talking about my feelings. Like, when if I were to look in the, I don't know, when I look in the eyes of an animal, well, it depends on what animal, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about cheese before Keegan has to go.
A snail.
What is
When
this
you look in the eyes of a
maggot trees?
snail, do you?
No, I don't look in the eyes of a snail or,
Slug.
I don't
Or
know
bat.
though. There's just like, I like cows. I think they're cute too. I just eat them anyway.
That's called projection. You're personifying them.
I know it.
They're not. They
I know
don't.
it, I'm aware of it.
They don't have that.
I know.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like, and that's cool. I mean, if you choose not to eat meat, that's fine. Don't eat meat. It's like I think then you start getting into this like who's right, who's wrong stuff about like and that again. It's like the conversation gets polarized into like, well, they're this, but like they're not.
There seems to be an inability in a lot of topics of discussion for many people to be able to hold two seemingly contradictory ideas in their mind at the same time and entertain them both.
That's called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. It's it's paradox, and it's
Yeah.
being able to, yes, meat and killing animals is part of being a human being, and not but and it also is. There's also a tremendous amount of animal cruelty in the world. There's a tremendous amount of social repercussions having to do with the slaughtering of animals, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done in balancing that out in the planet. It seems though, especially with this issue, you end up, well, not even especially with this issue, but with this issue, there's a lot of that polarization with people not being able to consider both sides of it at the same time.
And I see the other side of it. I just
Right.
have a different.
You just don't
opinion
want to
than
kill cows.
I just don't. Yeah. Okay. So one thing I don't care if we kill is maggots. And by the way, that's why I don't eat rice. I hate rice because it looks like maggots. Kerfuffling maggot.
I would eat live maggot cheese right in front of
Okay.
me.
So tell me
In a
what the
heartbeat.
hell this is.
Okay, so basically what maggot cheese is, and feel free to step in at any time.
Since you're the cheese
okay.
guy.
So basically maggot cheese is what happens is cheese, while it's aging, if the casing is cracked, flies can get into it and lay eggs. And what it ends up producing is the maggots laid by the flies will eat the cheese, and it ends up becoming a soft, purified type of cheese. And by the way, getting a hold of this stuff, since it's technically illegal in Italy and France and Spain, right?
No. It's not illegal in Italy.
It's not illegal.
No, in fact, in Italy, the village that it comes from, they do it intentionally, and there's a huge celebration around it every year. They have like the maggot cheese festival.
So is it just in France where it's illegal? So
Probably,
basically, okay, like how you find your music festival hippie drug dealer guy who gets the best acid around, and like you hold on to that phone number like Grim Death.
No.
You need that.
What?
No. Why? Yeah. No,
that's
but okay.
hilarious.
So you need that for a maggot cheese guy.
Well, and you eat the maggots. Like
Yeah, you
that's
eat
the,
the
the
maggots,
whole
of
point
course.
is that they've been eating the cheese only their whole lives. Like they haven't eaten anything else. There's a similar one to this that we actually just got this back in. There's a cheese called Mimolette from France. That's it's a harder cheese. You can get it in varying stages, but the way that they make it is that they put it into the aging room and they let cheese mites. Cheese mites are like I don't know how to explain them. They're just kind of like a small little bug, and they just are particularly fond of cheese, and so they come in and they chew on the rind of the cheese. Well, that opens up the cheese and makes pores on the outside of the cheese, which lets the cheese oxidize at a different rate. And so as it does, it changes the flavor over time. And 12-month Mimolette is like one of the greatest things you've ever had. It's all very, very controlled now. They take them and they have the room, and they put them in the aging room, and they release the mites in there, and then they suck all the oxygen out of the room, and all the mites die, and they just fall off the cheese. But the FDA wouldn't they stopped letting this in the country about a year ago. They cut it off because it was like technically, against the food code. It was unsafe and all these things. Well, this is cheese that they've been eating in France since time immemorial, like the 15th, 16th century. During the French Revolution.
It's like yogurt.
Yeah. During the French Revolution, they used to shoot balls of Mimolette when they ran out of cannonballs, because they're right about cannonball size. Like they've been eating this forever, and the FDA suddenly says, "Oh, it's bad now. It's bad." There are so many forms of food that are just like that.
But have you seen what the American cheese like? I mean,
That's not cheese.
no, I know it's not. Right. But I mean, have you seen that whole industry, the dairy industry and like the FDA and how they're all kind of together? Have you guys seen the movie Fed Up?
Mhm.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it kind of gives you an idea of why the American Dairy Council or whatever would do this to not import French cheese.
Well, okay, so one of the things that I really want, I would like on my kind of bucket list is to try maggot cheese.
Yeah.
And simply because, okay, you now if you want to enrich soil, one really good way to enrich soil is to put earthworms, like to increase the earthworm population in your soil, because the earthworms will eat the soil, they'll consume the soil, and it'll pass through them and soften it, and it enriches the soil. This is basically the same process, but with maggots through cheese. Like these maggots purify and soften the cheese, and you just eat the maggots.
Well, and that's a lot of cheeses are that way. I mean, cheese is, you talk about meat being with humanity for a long time. Cheese goes back as far. I mean, it goes back beyond our written history. We've been eating cheese as long as we've been around, and a lot of them were found that way. A lot of cheeses were just found because, in fact, they think that cheese was probably found by hunter-gatherers that found a calf of some kind that had died, and they opened, because they would take the stomachs out and use them for water bags and things like that, and that they probably found the curdled milk and the cheese inside, and that was probably how cheese was discovered. Because when you make cheese, you use rennet, which is from the stomach of the fourth stomach of a calf.
Right.
So a lot of stuff is like that. There's a lot of cheeses that have that kind of backstory. They have a particular kind of bacteria that grows on the rind because it was in this part of the barn and not that part of the barn.
Right.
And you talk about cured meats like prosciutto and salami and things like that. Those were all farm foods. Like all of this stuff is really farm food, and we talk about sustainability and like growing great food and making great food. A lot of it was just really accidental and mistaken. It was like, oh wow, that works. Let's have that some more. And then they perfect it over time, and it becomes what we see today. But
the processes of curing meats and cheeses and whatnot were ways to preserve foods. So that we would be able to sustain ourselves.
Definitely. Have you been to Old Major?
No, I have not.
You have to go to Old Major.
Is that like Beast and Bottle? Like,
have you been?
Like type of a?
Oh, no, it's a restaurant in the Highlands. Justin, I can't remember his last name, is the chef there, but he does all of his own in-house curing. So he's got prosciutto and he's got smoked ham. He does guanciale from time to time. Guanciale is like prosciutto, but it's made from pork cheek. He is absolutely brilliant. He is incredible. And he does it all in there. And on Wednesdays, you can go in and they bring in a whole hog and they process it in an open kitchen where you can sit and eat dinner and watch them process the whole hog.
That's awesome.
Absolutely fascinating. Like,
you want to talk about people learning to appreciate and show reverence and honor their food. There's
nothing higher. Yeah. There's a guy, one of the guys that we sell at Whole Foods, Cristiano Criminelli. He trained me as a salumista. He's a salumeria. Salumeria is our master salami maker. Salumista is if he was the author and the customer was the reader, I'd be the librarian.
Okay.
So the salumista is in the between. I know all these things about it. And I can talk about it. He is absolutely dedicated to his craft. Absolutely honors those hogs. They're all Berkshire hogs. They're all local, right around Salt Lake. Absolutely honors those hogs in the best way possible. They're beautiful. Like the product that comes out of that is absolutely exquisite, beautiful, and it takes so much time. He still hand ties every salami. Like he has guys that he brought over from Italy that do this together. It's like, what greater thing could you do for an animal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody out there is like, oh my God, he's a hideous human being.
I think there's about 17 PETA people outside.
Right, I know.
They're beginning to grow.
Actually, they're not out the window. They're out the door.
They're right outside the door waiting for Keegan.
And that's half of our listenership.
Right.
Keegan, be careful. Be safe out there, dude.
I'll try. I'm going to try.
That's funny. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm glad that you could come in.
Good to meet you, Keegan. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to go to Old Major on, I know it's late for
what's
you.
Your last day of school?
Last day of, it would be like whatever the last day of the semester is. I don't know. It's like the 4th or the 6th or something like that. So
if you go, you have to have pork 7 ways.
Okay.
7 ways.
Okay.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. We'll have pork 7 ways. That'll be our pièce de resistance. That'll be our coup de grace for the semester, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? Excellent. Well, we're going to go to another break. And when we come back, you know what? We are also talking about, Dan's going to be calling in because he knows so much about sustainability as far as cars are concerned. Also, I have a buddy, Michael, that started this, he'll have to describe it, but he went around to restaurants and got the recycling and started this like very profitable business in San Diego. And now he lives here. And so he's going to call in and we're going to talk to him about that. But in the meantime, you are listening to Social Penetration Radio right here at WCAS.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I wish I could stay longer. I just got some friends that were.
It's easy to, like, it's crazy.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Sit
it's
around
really
and
cool.
bullshit.
Yeah, have me back. I mean, I'll come
Okay.
back and talk anytime. I
Okay.
like that. I love that.
It is
3 episodes left.
Just like we think our
3
pets do
episodes
funny
left.
things,
Yoga's
they probably
next.
think the same about us.
Um,
Like, why do we talk incessantly
Doesn't-
onto those things we call
do yoga with
cell
cheese.
phones?
I
So why
try.
do we always
Try
have
it on.
to do
Yoga,
this?
you know what? We still have a yoga with cheese
But
show.
despite
Actually,
any funny habits you
we're
may
having,
have, a shelter
I'm
pet
trying
will
to
love
find
you
a tantrum
no matter
person,
what.
actually. But
The
right now
person
we
is the
have
best thing that happened to a shelter pet. Need that person.
people that wrote
Adopt.
this. I mean, they're kind
Brought
of
to you by
the,
Ad Council and the
people that write-
shelterpetprojects.org
like
and
the
by
leaders in yoga and psychotherapy.
WCAS
So
Radio.
they're gonna. I'm doing an interview with them.
People
next
are
week,
always talking
recording.
about the stock market.
Oh,
Always
we're also
looking
doing
to
Tiny
invest
House.
in a good opportunity.
Simpkins is their last
Something
name.
with the
Alexander
potential to grow.
and Mary.
So what if you could
Oh,
invest
yeah.
in the future of
Ellen
kids
Simpkins.
like a stock?
And
Not
They're
the kind
both
of stock that's
psychologists.
about making
I
money,
think
but
yeah,
a
I
stock
think
for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better
so
Futures
they're
from
gonna. I'm doing an
UNCF.
interview with them.
Your investment can
Like
help
how I
students go to
record,
college, which makes the
captions,
future
interviews,
better
I'll
for
record an interview with
everybody.
them. By the way, we're doing
Visit
Tiny House too, so that's the deal. I have
uncf.org/invest.
that.
It's a terrible
Um,
thing to waste,
I'm looking
but a
forward to
wonderful thing to
Let's
invest
make
in.
her talk about
A message from
I know,
UNCF,
I hate
the
that
Ad
we
Council,
get to that.
But no,
CAS
listen to it on YouTube.
Okay.
Social Penetration Radio. Just pick that you can listen to it
If you
later.
could change the
Um,
history
I
of
love
an
the
illness,
leadership.
would you?
I love it.
21
I
years
got it.
ago,
We were
She is a master composter.
my ex-wife and I, we started in the backyard, and I was just starting to kind of get the hang of it, and then she decided to leave me. So
Today,
I
there are 6 FDA-approved treatments helping
Yeah,
us
I know. She probably threw it
You
away.
both did.
with
Yeah,
researchers
yeah,
working
yeah.
hard to
But
change the
I'm
history
gonna try to do
of
some
pulmonary
gardening,
Learn
some
more
box
at
garden, because I bought a town, but it only has this like, little spot, you know, little
phenomenal
patio.
home looking to a phenomenal
She like
cure.
sends her soil up to like CSU and
Well, just once. And then after that, compost keeps.
According to a recent
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
survey,
Yeah, we got it.
86%
We
of
got it.
dads spend more time with their
Oh,
children
and
today
her husband
than their own
started
fathers did with them.
uh,
However,
group
7
hug
out
with
of 10
Evergreen.
also
Oh, cool.
report
I
that
think
they
you guys
use
should talk
tips
on that
how to
too.
be a better parent. Even the
Some
smallest
grains,
movements
some
can have the biggest impact on
Yeah.
a child's life.
Goes to a local
Take
homesteader.
time to be a dad
local
today.
homesteader,
For more information, call
They will
877-4DAD
exchange when they spend
411
grain, they'll
or
exchange
visit
fresh eggs.
fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and by
Fire
WCAS.
Wheat Brewing Company.
Yeah.
The name's gonna change.
Oh, it
so,
is? What is it
yeah,
gonna be
so,
now?
yeah, we're still talking about that.
These days, many Americans are at risk of foreclosure.
Okay.
and
Well, that's a road up there.
Million Americans
That's
at risk
on
of
the streets.
foreclosure have been
Yeah,
helped by making
it is.
home
I think it's freaking
Visit
awesome.
making home
But no, and
affordable.gov
also
or
she lives
call
on Evergreen, so like the
1-888-995-HOPE
kind of gardening she does is
to
like
learn what your options
crazy
are.
good.
If you're
Like
struggling
you,
to keep
If
your
If I
home,
wasn't
there
so
is help.
deep in
That's
student
making
loan debt,
home
I would give all
affordable.gov
this shit
or
up
call
to you.
1-888-995-HOPE
I
to
would
learn what
totally
your
give
options
it up.
are. Brought to you
I'm
by
serious.
the Ad
Do you have
Council,
so
the U.S.
much?
Department of the Treasury, and by
Oh, don't say that.
WCAS
Don't say
Radio.
that. Don't say that.
WCAS
No,
cares
don't
when it
say that.
counts.
It's horrible. That's why I have to
If
go
you're
become a
desperate
doctor
or
so I can
alone,
pay all that
help
shit off.
is here. Call
Right now.
Lifeline and talk with a trained crisis counselor
Well,
who can
eventually
help
they're
you
gonna forgive all
find
of
your
it.
way back
Because
to a
that's
happier,
the next
healthier
level, so.
life.
Actually, it's
Lifeline
just
is a
gonna be
confidential
fair.
service with the federal government's
That's right.
Substance
That's
Abuse and Mental
I
Health
think about
Services
not getting killed by
Administration.
the
The
crackheads.
call is free.
Because you know who's gonna survive?
Call the
It's not
National
gonna be us.
Suicide Prevention
It's gonna be
Network
the
day or night
gangster,
at
street crackhead.
1-800-273.
That's who's gonna be, and the people like you that are like
I
in
know.
the woods, like.
I'll survive, and I'll be off in the woods with you with my
Yeah.
camper.
Monsters.
That's
They
what
could
it
be
said.
living under the bed or
Yeah.
in the
You have
bathtub,
fur pink.
on
And
the
your
dresser,
PETA
even on the
friends
kitchen
and
counter.
Your
I
animal
see
lovers.
me.
Monsters are
I do. I mean, I just,
Oh, you goddamn bleeding
No, it's just
heart.
like
You gotta, if you ever get
pieces of meat,
ballsy
like
one night,
roast meat.
start
Oh, okay.
look up YouTube videos of pig
It's up to
slaughters
you
or
to
cow
make
slaughters.
monsters go away.
It's
Like, I
not.
have
It's
to
not what you think.
very
Right?
simple
It's like
ways
you.
to
I mean, it is. I don't know. It kind of is what you think. But once you watch, like, you watch it a couple times, you're kind of like, wow. It's not. I mean, they die.
Well,
yeah.
they're dead.
And wiping up food crumbs that can attract pests.
Yeah, they bring. Yeah, they
They're
bring.
easy
Do you want to do that after it's dead?
plant that can help someone into your child.
Oh, it's
No, I don't
so-
mind
Learn
seeing
more
it. I
at
think it's a beautiful thing when, I mean, I
call
love seeing
1-866
it all come apart, and it was, and not only that, you go, the fillet comes from,
Exactly.
like, yeah, but Jimmy is,
Jimmy the Butcher was
Jimmy
doing
the Butcher
tie-
and
tie
Margaret
roast. Remember
is
the tie in the roast?
oh, yeah. He's
That
a
shit
natural
is so
innovation.
great. Yeah. But we do a lot of custom cuts. in our-
free meals for your
We have
kids,
some
don't have to.
incredible butchers.
If
It's,
your
yeah,
child
it's
is
really
on
fun.
a free or reduced price lunches,
I mean,
Feeding
I don't mind
America
watching it
can help
butchered.
provide them
I
with
just,
food this summer.
I just don't
Help
know.
your kids stop worrying
I
about
just don't
food
wanna
and
make
start
eye contact.
focusing on fun. Visit
Because I've had pig roast in my backyard.
Summer Meals
That was
to
my
find your
money. I
local
ate the
food
shit out of
bank
that
health.
motherfucker.
Once again,
Um,
that's feeding
That's what I'm saying.
America.org
That's the
/summer
disconnect. It's like there's
meals.
this
I know.
huge, like it's
Together,
like
we're
I'm
feeding
aware
America.
though, but I'm aware of my
This message is brought to you by
well, not just you. It's everybody. It's
No,
me
no.
too. I mean, it's like
WCAS
it's
radio.
that's the line. It's like I can
Remember
see
when
it
the
then,
worm in the woods left
but
you
to
covered
kill
in
it,
bug bites? Or when the sexy
raise
green
it,
turned into a sticky mess?
kill it.
Then there was
That's
a
the
time
part where it's
or
like
two
nobody knows
that
that's
you got
not.
caught
No,
in
and
the
it's funny though that you talk about
Even better,
personifying
make you
dogs
feel
or animals, you know,
Don't give up on
because
birth
I'm actually
control either.
sensitive about that. I mean, of course, my dog is personified because
Visit
he gets massages from
bedside.org
fucking
to compare
acupuncture.
all
I mean, that's
choices.
personified.
Get the
But
facts and leave the bogus
but
myths to bed.
on the converse side, like when
Message
people are like,
Bedsider
oh,
and the Ad
Cookie
Council.
Baby wants
By WCAS
my
Radio.
dog
We care when it
knows
counts.
X about my dog doesn't
It
like
takes
it when I
12
wear
years to create
yellow,
a graduate.
or
It
my
takes
dog
the
doesn't
same
like
time
these boots.
to
I'm like,
create
your
a
dog
job.
doesn't give a fuck.
And the
Or like
difference
when people are like,
could
my
be
dog
you.
totally knows when
Become
I'm
a
going on
volunteer
vacation.
reader.
Yeah,
tutor,
because
or
mentor.
you,
On.
and not only that, but before when you start packing and shit,
Take the
you started, well,
You're freaked out.
I'm like I'm leaving Saturday.
A public
Oh, I'll be
service
packing
message
in
brought to you by
like
United Way and the
1
Ad
hour and
Council.
15 minutes
Hey,
before my
listen,
flight takes off.
you need to get it
When it
together.
counts.
I know, I
You need
did.
to get it together.
I know.
Suck it up.
Dude, that's so
You're an
funny.
adult. It was such a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, I'll listen. Give me, yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
make sure,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
send you guys an email
Yeah,
or
get the-
together.
yeah.
But I'll Facebook you. You can, I'm Facebook friends with both of you guys too.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Yeah, we'll
No,
talk to you
you
guys.
guys, I knew that would be a
Yeah,
good,
you as well.
I knew that would be a good connection.
I like
Yeah,
it. I
cool.
like it.
I'll see you later.
All right,
Thanks,
see
buddy.
ya.
Public
Yep.
service message brought to you
Okay.
by United Way.
We'll talk about Aaron behind his back.
WCA.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa, what a trip, huh, dude?
Yeah.
I know. Well, hey, my friend Michael said that he just tried to call and it just kept ringing and ringing. So I wonder what's going on with that. I might have to call him. Except for I don't think my phone calls long distance. Yeah, try it again. You know what? Try. I'm gonna have him, Michael. If you're listening right now, try 303-352-7424, and that's anybody. Yep, 303-352-7424. I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah, Keegan's pretty. He's a smart dude too, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty tripped. Although that dude. I hope he's not grading my paper. That's all I'm saying. I do. Because actually Travis likes the way, well, I don't know if he likes, you know what, this paper's not even that good. And I'm aware of it because I'm not flowery right now. My brain's just not in that place. I'm just into just disseminating the effing
See,
information.
Keegan's just trying to get you to realize and actualize your potential, Stacy. He's trying to push you like the dude in
And it's
Whiplash.
irritating.
Whiplash is a film that came out in
what
2014.
Okay, I didn't know what it was.
I'm doing my errand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, good call. That's
it was
exactly.
a recent film,
Yeah, no, hold on. I have to. I'm gonna.
a very intense film where a music teacher, a music professor pushes musicians to the point where they lose their mind, even become suicidal.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. And I don't think I'm.
And you
And I don't think I'm gonna watch pigs get slaughtered either. I mean, you know what? It is what it is. But right? Oh, look here. We have a phone call. Who knew? Hello. Hey, buddy. Hold on. We'll put you on the. I'm going to put you on the board. Oh, what was that? I hung up on him. Oh, sorry, Michael. Try to call me
Operator
again.
error.
Oh, hold on. Call to board. Hang up. Oh, what the heck is going on? I put it to
You
the
sound
board.
like you sound like my dad when cell phones first came out.
Yeah, I know, right?
These goddamn things.
Right. Hold on.
Son.
Okay, I didn't mean to hang up on you. Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can get this done right now. And I'm wondering if this is the problem that's been going on with the thing. Hold on, Kay. All right, can we hear him now? Let's
It's
see.
like
Can we
watching
hear
a
you
monkey
now?
trying to kerfuffle
Right.
a football.
How about now? Can we hear you? Yay! Hey, Michael. Thanks for calling in tonight. Hey, how was your baseball game? Nice. Hey, okay. So for anybody that's listening, this is my friend Michael that's on the show right now on the telephone. Also in the studio is Erin Howell with Heavy Mental Coaching, Margaret Rohde with Green Hedonist, and me with Social Penetration Radio.
Hello,
Okay,
Mike. How are you?
Hey, Mike. Yeah. Good. Hey, okay. So, we're talking about sustainability tonight, and you started a business in San Diego. Take us through that start to finish, because the story is actually really fascinating. Okay. I love Carrie. Right. Mm-hmm. Whoa. I didn't know that part. Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome. I love that story, buddy.
That's a great story.
Love it.
Yeah. So, and then how long were you doing that for? Mm-hmm. Right. Hey, buddy, you're kind of cutting out, so I'm going to let you go, but you could stay tuned because we're going to talk about you behind your back. Oh, that's much better. Holy cow. Yeah. Okay. So, no. So here is another question I have. When you say that it was more complicated than it needed to be, in what way? Mm-hmm.
What a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
is.
how much did you sell your business for? Okay. That's okay. We love you for that. I just think that that's such a great story, though, that you were able to do that, and it still goes on in San Diego today. Wow. Nice. You're brilliant, dude. Hey, how's your wife? She is awesome. She is awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We totally appreciate it. We're still going to talk about you behind your back. In a good way. In a good way. Awesome. That's Mike Warren, guys, joining us tonight, who is just a baller. Thanks again, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Yay, Mike.
Bye. So, like, you can actually make money being, you know what I mean? I think that more and more people are figuring out how they can make money in these situations where you can be better to the earth.
I think so. I mean, waste streams in general are becoming really cool things to try to tap into. One of my favorite organizations in Colorado is called Repurposed Materials. It's a company that started out in Denver, and I think they're up near closer to Brighton now, somewhere near Brighton. But what they do is they take these large quantities of industry cast-offs. So, for example, you might have massive amounts of tennis court netting, or you might have these vast sheets of thin rubber that used to be used on a roof, or snow fencing, things like that that have a lifespan, and at the end of their lifespan they used to just end up in the landfill. What these guys do is they get these huge quantities, they stock them in their warehouse up there, and then they say, we've got all this snow fencing, or we've got all these pallets, or we have all of these gigantic bins and stuff. Who wants them? And people can look at their website and see what's out there and see what they could turn it into. I know people out in Evergreen that have a little homestead, and they have barns and they have chicken houses and things like that. And they use this thin rubber membrane that used to have some roofing application. So they would buy this by the yard from Repurposed Materials, and they use it to build a roof on their thing. Instead of needing something new, they're using repurposed stuff. And waste stream stuff, I'm really, really fond of anybody who gets into that business.
So what is out there, and I've always been curious about this. I used to work, when I was 19, I worked for Boston Market. And I was blown away. This is the first, this was one of the only food jobs I've had where I produced a lot of waste. Is they kind of prided themselves on having, the freshest ingredients and this, that, and the other. So the downside of that is that a lot of stuff gets thrown out. There's a tremendous amount of waste. Just dumping so much stuff. And I remember when I was 19, I was like, they should make some sort of like processing machine that we can just make general food loaf. Just take, and send it elsewhere where food is needed. But I've always been curious about what can be done with waste food. Is it just composting? Is that like the main thing? But with, so many processed ingredients in foods, like would it even be sustainable to do that? Like,
it depends on the food. I've seen some really cool, innovative stuff going on. For example, we have a little, here's a typical progression in my community anyway. So we have the big grocery stores up there. We have Safeway and King Soopers and all of those. And when something like a loaf of bread reaches its best by date, and I know that it's still good to eat. It didn't turn poisonous overnight.
Right.
But they can't have it on the shelves, or they don't want to have it on the shelves anymore. And so what ends up happening in a lot of cases is from there, those foods go to like a food kitchen or someplace where, somebody doesn't mind if it's a little bit past the date, or somebody doesn't mind if the bananas have a couple spots or the apples have a soft pit or whatever. So it goes to the food kitchen. And what would happen after the folks taking advantage of the food kitchen no longer wanted it, what would happen is it would go to our community garden, and we would compost what was left over, turn it into compost, which is basically turning it into fertilizer, which goes into the soil of the garden beds that are there. And now we actually have the food bank has garden beds in the community garden. And so it's this neat little circle where it goes from the grocery store to the pantry to the compost and into their very own garden bed, where they can now grow their own food. Right. And they don't have to. So there's these really cool, innovative spiral sorts of solutions going on. That just
and you couldn't do that with like mac and cheese.
But
like,
mac and cheese, no.
But
mac and cheese lasts like 20 years anyway.
Right. My
Twinkies,
compost pile. Well, I don't have a compost pile in my neighborhood. We actually have a curbside composting program. So, I just put it out like with the garbage, except for it's just all food, right? And we can put processed food in there, and we can put meat in ours.
Yeah, big composting facilities like this, the one up in Summit County. We took a tour up there once. My little master composter class took a little tour over there, and they did an experiment one year, and they got two at the dump. People dropped off 2 dead horses.
Oh my God!
I don't know what you're supposed to do. I thought you were just supposed to let them go back to the land or something. But they got these 2 dead horses, and they put them and they composted them. They built a compost pile around them. And up there, they're called windrows. They're these long piles, cylindrical piles, and they get to be 20 feet high. And the core of the pile can get all the way up to like 180 degrees.
Wow.
And they dug, they buried this horse, and then several weeks later they go looking for the horse, and all they've got are like these bone, they've got a skull and they've got some bones. And so all kinds of things can be brought back. Now, you don't want to do that in a home composting setup, because that's just inviting every sort of maggot and animal, and we can make some cheese for Aaron, but aside from that, the benefits not so good.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't want to eat a maggot. I mean, if I knew maggots made it and it was something really good, I wouldn't lose my mind. Like, I know where
ketchup.
I know where truffles come from.
When was the last time you had ketchup?
I don't know. I don't love ketchup.
Maggot ketchup?
Maggots are in ketchup.
They are?
You're not in ketchup.
They are absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Ketchup is not a vegan food. Like, if you're vegan, you ought not eat ketchup.
How do you know that?
Well, they can't control the fly population at the bottling plants.
Okay.
So there's maggots in the ketchup.
Well, that's any food that's processed.
Yeah, like they have mice
and there's also
peanut
mouse
butter,
mouse
right?
poop and things like that. So.
Right. I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna eat.
Somewhere out there is a guy or a girl who's eating a hamburger, and she's got it halfway raised to her
and
mouth.
she's like, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
Oh, I hate that guy.
That is so funny. Also,
don't you know what's in that?
Hold on one. Yeah, right.
Where are you going?
No, it's Aaron's on the phone. Hold on. Let's see.
Aaron's on the phone.
What?
Okay.
Aaron's right
Hey,
here.
no.
It's for me.
Hang on. No. Let's see. Oh wait, he's on this one. Hey, Dan.
Dan's on the phone.
Are you there? Hold on.
He said.
Oh, cool. Hold on. I'm putting you online. Hold on one sec. Okay, here we go. This
Watching Stacy use the phone system
is hilarious.
is like watching a monkey trying to a coconut.
His kerfuffle of coconut. Well, you know what? I'm pretty good at running this whole gig over here, but to go over there. Dan, thanks for joining us on air, by the way. And okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you tonight, because you're the one that tricked me into getting a Tesla. And by the way, I'm still not going to get one until they have a convertible. So do you know when that's going to be? Do they even have one in the works? Yeah, I saw that, but that's not what I want. I want it like a regular convertible. I want one of their cars that they have only in a convertible, and not with the sunroof. I get it that they have a sunroof. I just want the convertible. Okay, so tell us why you think Tesla's so great.
Duh.
Yeah. Okay, and in what way? Okay. Whoa. Whoa, dude. But how do they do that? That they send a software update to the car and then
You can send a software update to your pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, look,
They.
but here's they got it through. Yeah, but here's my thing. I mean, they can send a software update to my phone, but it's not going to make me breakfast, right? I mean, it's like they're changing a tangible thing with the software. It trips me out a little bit. Does that trip you guys out?
Well,
No.
they're not changing the hardware though. I mean, through the update, they're just.
But how do they make the car go faster? How do they make the car go faster with a software update? Oh, okay. Right on. Okay, so you said that you love it because of performance. What else? Whoa. Okay. Oh wow, like a lowrider. Okay, but like a lowrider, if you're like
Ring,
pulled up,
ding,
if you're
dong. Ring, ding, 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 dong. Keep the heads ringing.
I think it would be great if you did. I'm going to when I get mine. Yeah, that would be awesome. I bet they would.
I have a question about hybrid cars. I have a question. I am a touring musician, and by the way, Stacy, you got to help me out here. Like, pretend I have never heard this show before. Who are we talking to?
Oh, this is Dan Frary, and actually, he's married to my niece.
Oh, okay.
But he's also an electrical engineer. Tell us what you do for a living, Dan, because all I know is that you make sure that my niece has some scratch. But yeah, what do you do?
Cool.
Right. I picked up on that, buddy.
Benedict
Yeah.
Arnold.
Benedict
That's what
Arnold
you
is
are.
right.
Well, okay, so then you would be perfect to help me answer this question. Okay, so I'm a touring musician, and as far as hauling equipment and stuff like that, I've been wanting to find something to be able to haul a decent amount of weight cross country, and whether it be converting the engine on a pre-existing engine on a vehicle and upgrading it so that it's a hybrid of some sort, or totally just getting a van or some other type of vehicle that is designed to transport people and equipment, but be able to do that with a hybrid car. Is there any option like that available out there?
No.
Cadillac. Cadillac
they
has
have,
one, right?
Yeah, Cadillac does the SUV, right?
Yeah, they have an Escalade. Don't they have a hybrid Escalade?
Right. Okay.
Very cool.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can any of this stuff tow or have a bunch of weight capacity though? Okay.
Right. That's probably some years off then.
Hmm.
Something like that.
That's what yeah. Well, and okay, so here's something that I run into all the time. Oh, okay. Well, wait, let's get back to Tesla. Is there anything else that you love about Tesla before we move on? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Uh-huh. Right. So why did you pick the Volt over other cars? Okay. Okay.
What's the price point on the Volt right now, Dan? Hmm.
Okay. And you love yours. You love yours, right? Uh-huh. Like, right. Okay, so yikes, that makes me want to puke in my mouth a little bit driving in Southern California
Little
70
bit.
miles a day.
So that takes you 3.5 days to get to wherever you're going.
Oh, here we laugh in Denver, Colorado.
That's like playing a game of Oregon Trail. Right?
What the hell's that? What's a game of Oregon Trail?
We'll talk about it later.
Aaron rolls
Dan
eyes.
has died of dysentery.
So one of the things that I find, and we have another call coming in, but I think we can only take one at a time. Yeah, we can only take one at a time. They'll have to, if you're calling us right now, you'll have to call back. But here's the thing that, I know a lot of people are saying, well, if you get a Prius, you're better off, that it takes all this work that destroys the earth. If you get a Prius, that you would have been better off if you would have just got a gas powered car that got really good gas mileage. What is that line of thinking, and is that even true? Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Right. I got it. Hey. Okay, cool. Right on. You know all this stuff. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Because your wife and I are going to Vegas, right? Yeah. And you don't know what you're doing? Yeah, you'll be home alone watching the dogs? Awesome. For what? Oh, I didn't know you were moving. Where are you moving to? Oh, right on, dude.
Nice.
Okay,
Yay.
good. Right on. How did I not know this? Well, I bet I'll find out all about it on Saturday. Yeah, and then I can come stay at your house. Are you guys keeping your other house? No, that's okay. You'll be thankful that you're not landlords. Yeah, it's all good. Awesome. Good, dude. That's so great. Hey, thanks for helping us out tonight and enlightening us on something that I knew nothing about. Do you guys have any more questions?
No.
No, you're awesome, Dan. I love your guts.
Go Tesla.
Talk to you later. Oh, he loves my
Man,
guts too.
somebody is blowing us up.
Yeah, I wonder if it's my
I bet
mom.
it's your mom. I'll bet $1 it's your mom.
Okay, I'll bet you.
I hope so.
Margaret, hope
Sarah,
so.
is that you?
Right. Okay. So, yeah, but that's actually really interesting, though. I think that when, for Dan to come on and let us know about that.
And
stuff.
that was the one thing that I've had against switching to an electric vehicle of some sort is just the towing thing.
Me too.
Yeah,
Because I have a camper.
Yeah, you have a camper and I have 5 guys and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but God, that would do so much for touring bands. We took it, you know, we just took a minivan, like a newer minivan, and there were times when we were getting 40 miles to the gallon. Just being able to go in a hybrid or electric vehicle that'd be a game changer.
So 40 miles to the gallon in a minivans get good gas mileage?
Well, this is a, you know, a newer Chrysler.
Wow.
And it was 40 miles to the gallon when we were cruising on downhills into straightaways.
But hold on, my car gets like 17. Isn't that gross? That's why I gotta get a Tesla.
You should be ashamed of
I
yourself.
know, yeah. That's why I'm getting a Tesla. I mean, if they don't have any plan to come out with a convertible, I'm just
there it
gonna
goes.
get a Tesla. But yeah, you guys can keep.
It's her mom.
Hello?
I guarantee it's her mom.
Oh, it is. Hold on one second. All right. Hey, Mom, is that you?
I knew it.
Was that you that kept calling and calling and calling and calling? Oh. Oh, that's so funny. So Aaron and Margaret are here, right?
Hi, Sarah.
Oh, that's right. They're both Aquariuses. You're welcome, Mom. Yeah, I get worse at it as the semester goes along. I'm not quite sure that's a good thing. Hey, but you know what? Something I'm not bad at is that you're listening to WCAS Radio Auraria, and this is Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment.
Yeah, you did.
Top of the hour.
Nice.
Yep.
Top of the hour.
Yep.
Nice days.
What? So your timing's great, Mom. It couldn't be better. So do you have any questions or any input, or you just wanted to catch up? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my great grandma was a moonshiner, believe it or not.
Sweet.
And yeah, she made liquor. She was a moonshiner, but she would feed the grain to the chickens. And the story is that the chickens would get drunk out of their minds, is what my great grandma used to tell us. But so that was the 1930 or 1920s definition of sustainability and recycling.
Nice. I don't even think they needed it as much.
And
Well,
repurposing.
except for, I mean, I suppose, yeah, they had the industrial age was probably pretty heinous.
1921.
Right? Exactly.
Pueblo, Colorado.
Pueblo.
Yeah.
No, just Pueblo, Mom.
Paducah, Kentucky, 1921. Prohibition has increased its stranglehold on the United States.
You know what? I think that, no, seriously, Ken Burns needs one guy, and it's just you. Like, he gets like 800 people to do all of his narration. No, done and done. Dude, you should think about it. Would you have fun doing that? I
The
think that would
Union
be a
soldiers
blast.
fought with a ferocity which I had never seen before. John Williams, 1864.
You're funny too,
My
Mom.
dearest Martha.
You're funny too, Mom. Hey, Mom, we're going to go to a break and we're going to come back. And I did a bunch of interviews with Jonathan Stahl. So you're going to keep listening to us? Okay, cool. Oh, cool. We'll tell her happy birthday. Okay, love you, Mom. Have a good night.
Love you.
Bye, Sarah.
Oh, bye, Mom. That's my mom for you.
I knew it was your mom.
Right? I knew it was my mom, too. You're listening to Social Penetration Radio.
According to a recent survey,
Hey, buddy.
86% of dads spend more time with their children
'cause I
than
like it.
their own fathers did with them.
Okay,
However,
cool.
7 out of 10 also report that they could use tips on how to be a better
Piece of
parent.
work, man.
Even the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a
It's pretty
child's life.
awesome.
Take the time to
The,
be intent
you don't
today.
have to feel obligated if you're getting
For more
tired.
information,
Okay, good.
No, it's fine. What's the
Yeah,
one?
better.
I want to hear Jonathan.
Okay, cool.
I haven't seen
Or
Jonathan.
visit
in
fatherhood.gov.
Make this a short.
Brought to you by the U.S.
Yeah,
Department of Health and Human Services
I don't see him
and
that
by
often either, even though he lives like 6 blocks away
WCAS
from me.
Radio.
This dude is like.
There are hundreds of fun and simple things you
This
and
guy's
your family can do to live a healthier
Yeah,
lifestyle.
he makes me
Here's a
look like I'm
few.
standing still.
Drop the fat. Drop the sugar. Drop down and give me 10. Ditch the video games. Ditch the remote. Dig a ditch. Skip seconds. Skip dessert. Skip to my loo.
Birthday's next
Just
Wednesday.
don't skip breakfast. Search We Can online to find more ways you and
we
your
still have to
family
do the
can get
birthday
healthy
stuff.
together.
That'll be
From
our
Mr.
last
Trivia
show.
Council,
Or
HHS,
could we
and
do that with
WCAS
Dr.
Radio.
Bev?
WCAS.
Do that with
Catch
Dr.
what it
Bev.
counts.
Okay, we can do that.
All across America,
I'm gonna
something
talk to
remarkable is happening. Kids are
2
eating
weeks
better.
from today.
They're exercising. Our youngsters are, drum roll, please, getting healthy.
Portland, Oregon.
And it's all because determined moms have gotten together to make a difference. It's not rocket science. They're just finding creative ways to help their
So
kids
glad you
exercise
I'll be able to hear
and
you.
eat
out of
5
my-
servings
We
of fruit
still,
and vegetables every day. You can do it
I
too.
still want to talk
Get
about
ideas,
gardening.
get
So
involved,
let's
get
not forget
going
about that.
at Let's Move.
I know we're all over the place. but I
Again,
always am all
that's
over the place.
Let's
are.
Move.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Yeah, and
Watch
it,
my list,
yeah.
into interest. And yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay.
From Central Classroom 108, you are listening to a WCAS Radio. 24/7 commercial-free music.
That's my cue.
And you're listening to
Now, cool, man. Hey, okay, so you guys are listening to Social Penetration Radio right here at WCAS Auraria. We are in the last hour. Doesn't it go a lot faster than it does, or is it long for you?
No.
I know, it's like, it goes fast.
Mm-mm.
That means I'm in flow, right?
I think.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so earlier tonight we had Keegan Walker, cheese genius, and cheese genius.
Royal
That's what I'm
cheese
going to
ball.
start calling him, is a genius.
Hey, genius.
No, I'm going to call him a genius. And yeah, that was actually really interesting, though, to find out his take on that. He actually has his undergraduate in philosophy, and you can tell. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, but you know, that those guys, yeah, they like to philosophize, right? And yeah, because he was going to get his PhD in philosophy and decided to get it in psychology. I know, right? So let's see. Then Dan Frary was on tonight, and he was talking to us about sustainable car, like cars and hybrids and electric cars. Margaret, you have been telling us about, I want to hear some of your other blog stuff though, before we move on. Okay, because, so you were talking Friday Hedonist, okay? So what's free in your town on Friday?
Let's see. Free in my town on Friday. What can we do? There's so much to do where I live anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't involve going inside of a building, and so we don't do a lot of free stuff in Evergreen that we can. But down here in Denver, there's just tons of stuff. There's a wonderful website called milehighonthecheap.com, milehighonthecheap.com, and on any day of the week you can go out there and you can say, okay, what's coming up that's free? And it will tell you, okay, so Friday is the free day at the Science Museum, and then you've got this meditation lesson over here, and you've got this lecture at the Museum of Natural Sciences, and you've got this and this. You know, you've got, I went out there one day not too long ago, and there's 50 free things, all of which are at least somewhat interesting that I would like to do.
Nice.
What was that called? Mile High on
milehighonthecheap.com.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
it's really great. And I did a little research, and most major markets have something like that.
Cool.
If you Google it, if you Google free things to do in, insert your town or your city name, you can find tons of stuff to do. It doesn't involve going out and spending $15.
I would have
for
called
beer
it
and-
things to do in Denver when you're dead broke.
Oh, I love it.
Aaron.
Things to do in Denver is a movie that
Oh
came
my
out
God,
in
you
the
gotta
90s.
reserve that.
No, I don't. That's very long.
Oh.
Very long. But
Yeah.
but I love it.
Reserve it for him. Yeah. Oh no, what was the other one that you outrospection? That was the word that you made up. Outrospection.
Nice.
Maybe I made it up. Who knows?
I like it that you did. Okay, so I did an interview earlier in the week with Jonathan Stalls, and Jonathan Stalls, speaking of free things to do, he went to school here at Metro and got a degree. I think it's like in social entrepreneurship or something like that. It was an IDP, kind of like integrative psychology is my IDP. And he now runs this program all over the city, and you could go check it out at walk2connect.com. We had Rachel here a few weeks ago, Rachel Holton.
Oh, yeah.
And she's also with Walk to Connect. But there's walks all over the city, and their main purpose is to connect with other people. So it's not so much about, making sure you burn enough calories or anything like that. It's about
hanging with some peeps.
Yeah, but there's like tons of walks all over the city now. It's pretty. As a matter of fact, their website now, they have a interactive map because there's walks so many places around the city, which is incredible because I think he just started this like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago.
I went to running
It's
with
gotten
the
big.
Snug for a little bit, like a couple of times. And I always thought it was kind of funny because it was like this running club, and it's like, oh, we'll go for a run for about an hour, and then everybody will go back to the Irish Snug and get wasted. So I didn't end up going for very long, but that was something that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
as
that
far
is
as
cool.
an opportunity for people to connect and hang out.
Well, Jonathan is a fascinating guy, and one of his projects that he has going on is a tiny house project. And so I asked him a little bit about that, so I'm going to let him, in his own words, say what's up.
Cool.
With his dog.
Noah.
Yeah, so they're pretty fascinating. We're looking at a video of it right now, and they literally live like a house. I mean, on the inside. I mean, because I have a camper, and my camper, you know, everything's like plastic and whatever. You know, I mean, not my appliances clearly, but and I actually have a nicer camper than most people do. But that's kind of the big thing about this is that it lives like a real house.
Well, it's bigger than most rooms I've had.
Well, and here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the tiny houses are bigger than most bedrooms that I have paid substantial amounts of rent on. You know, living in 5 Points, I was paying, you know, with the changing housing market in Colorado, I was paying $600 a month for my bedroom, which was very small.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't give you the square footage, but it was small. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is
your bedroom that I've seen?
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I haven't seen it in the biblical way, in case you guys were wondering.
Okay.
But it's like, it was about 90 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about a 90 square foot room for $600 a month. So in the course of a year, you know, how much is 6 times 12?
72.
70. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
See, I knew I was just testing.
Oh no, ask her husband. We play Yahtzee, and I can add up the dice in like 1 nanosecond.
So how much does a
It's
tiny
so
house, like I'm saying this not to like test you, but I'm actually curious, how much is a tiny house?
Okay, so 360 square feet is kind of the max for a tiny house. And just to give you a frame of reference, that's like the size of a average to almost small 2-car garage.
Okay.
Okay. And that would be their biggest. His is 170 square feet, which is the size of a small 1-car garage.
Okay.
Okay. And I got to talking to him about the cost on it. Now he's been doing this over several years. Okay. And he said that he had put in like 35, and, you know, I think he meant 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he said lots of people, you know, it's like $5,000 to, you know, that they get reclaimed materials and things like that. And he said he's always looking on Craigslist for, you know, the next thing. And one of the things, he had never done this before. I mean, he's building this thing on his own, and we should look at his Facebook page so that actually I'll bring it up on this computer during our next break so that people can look at it, you know, through our Google Hangout if they want to, or they'll be able to see it next when they watch the YouTube channel afterwards. But he said that he had never done anything like this before. So he's learning this as he goes along, but now he really feels like an expert that would be able to tell people how to do all this stuff. And like one of the things in his house that he's looking for is things that fold up into the walls, mm-hmm. you know, so that you can use, you know, it can be a couch or a bed, or having like hanging hammocks so that you can have people come and stay with you.
Right.
Yeah, or hanging, you know, those hammock chairs or whatever.
Here's the reason I'm curious. As you know, I am saving for like an RV. I'm planning on spending.
Really?
I'm planning on spending a few years living on the road.
Okay.
Living on the road.
Awesome.
And I've heard about the tiny house thing. I'm really curious about it. And I'm just thinking with like what I spend on rent per year, could I, like, if I just wanted to give someone the money and go, I don't want to build anything.
Uh-huh.
I just take my money and give me a house. Mm-hmm. What am I looking at paying for, like, let's say 125 square foot tiny house?
I would think like $3,500, 125.
$3,500?
Yeah. $5,000.
Take a look at the Tumbleweed. That's the Tumbleweed site.
This is the Tumbleweed
site.
site.
They'll have pricing on the packages in there.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you think about, I probably spend $7,000 a year on rent.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. So, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so it says on their website, a Tumbleweed Amish barn raiser for sale. So save yourself 1 to 200 plus hours of build time. Let us do the heavy lifting for you. The Amish barn raiser gets your build started off right. From the trailer to the roof line, we frame and sheath the RV for you. Oh, that was one of the things I asked him about. Like, do you have to plate this like an RV? And he said, these guys, if they build it to RV specs. If you build it yourself, you have to keep it under 15,000 pounds, not 1,500, 15,000. And he's just under that. So he doesn't have to keep his, and he doesn't have to plate his, but he said that could go from state to state, you know, like, But okay, so here's what you get. It says a tumbleweed trailer. So the trailer includes brakes, lights, underside flashing, and more. By the way, they don't have to be on a trailer. I mean, if you decide then later to put it on a foundation, which I think is his ultimate thing that he's going to do, is put this, on a foundation off the trailer. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's his deal. The subfloor, so they insulate the floor, which is cleverly embedded into the trailer headspace. Our trailer's unique design provides an extra 3.5 feet of headroom. By the way, Jonathan is a tall guy. Yeah, he's a tall guy. Walls and roof. So stick-built walls and roof are framed and attached to the trailer. It's secured. Does that say 8 engineered Simpson strong tie-downs and engineered strapping? Water resistant, so frame sheathed in zip boards and integrated vapor barrier, roof protection, and then you get free plans, I guess, to finish it all out. And one of the things, so he's getting a composting toilet, and then he's going to figure out what to do with his gray water and things like that. But I mean, it's going to be, super, super duper.
It'd be so cool to
right?
build a practice space, like a little jam space,
Yeah.
and then just the loft over the top of it with a bed.
Right?
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a garage with a loft.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that that's a great idea. Or maybe that's what you just build for bands.
Mm-hmm.
That would be marketed to people with bands. Hey man, build your own garage. You can be a garage band. There you go. Except for you got a house. So here he is working on these, right? And he had never done anything like this before, he said. And so he feels like he's a total expert when it comes to it, and that he's done a good job, and all of these people have come and kind of helped him out with it and made him really good at it. And but I was like, well, the upside is if you screw something up, it's only 170 square feet. Like you only have so many linear feet. If you mess up a window, you know what I mean? You could redo it versus, in a big house, if you do something wrong with the foundation, like now you're hosed, right? So that was very interesting, but he had a little more to say about sustainability. Hey, by the way, it looks like we're kind of wrong on the ballparking of stuff. It's not 3,500, it's 35,000. I mean, if you build it yourself, I think. Because look, that's $57,000 right there. But I mean, for example, like my camper was 15. And both of my campers were 15, but they would blow over at any time. I mean, that's a legitimate structure. But yeah, so I think he brings up a good point that, you can have the greenest house in the world, but if you're out somewhere where you have to get in your car all the time, like that's the kind of the opposite of green, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So he brought up this point, which I actually think is really cool about this tiny house movement.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is. I heard something about this whole thing on NPR. Where even if they're not necessarily nice houses, you know what I mean? Like, that they're giving them some sort of shelter for them to live in. I mean, even if it's
Did you
a
see
camper or whatever.
before you switched over? I saw like 120 square foot, $66,000 tiny house
I know.
for $500 a month.
Yeah. Oh, the whole house is $500 a month.
There it is.
Yeah.
161 square feet,
Yeah.
$66,000, $502 a month.
Yeah. And then it's yours.
You have got to be kidding me,
Are you like? Do you want me to hook you up with Jonathan?
dude. I would need a vehicle first, but
Right. But
that's oh my God,
like-
Stacy, I'm getting such like a brain boner right now.
I thought so. I
Oh,
look at how and they're so cute on the inside. I mean, it looks like a legitimate house, doesn't it?
And the outside.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need that.
Yeah. And, I have to say, and I was telling Jonathan about this while I was talking to him. Now, I know who lives in a house even if they're not home.
Mhm.
And even if they don't have any pictures in their house, I know who lives there just intuitively. I've been in 14,000 houses in 17 years. You kind of get a feeling about these things, right? And one of the things that I really recognize, I'll never forget, this lady was out in Highlands Ranch, and her house, not including the basement, was like 4,000 square feet. And then it was another 2,000 in the basement. And she was a single lady. And every room, had her crap all, like it was like she took off her outfit in this room and then kind of forgot about it and then took it off another outfit in another room a different day. And you know what I mean? And she was just so sad and lonely. And it was just such an indication to me about how we try to get these things to fill us up that never really do. And Jonathan, who's one of the most, in my opinion, like self-actualized, fulfilled people I know. I mean, here this dude is looking at a house for 170 square feet,
Right.
Yeah, pretty rocking though, huh, buddy?
It's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and I think it's great though that they're doing this for homeless folks too, because I mean, honestly, if you have nothing, this is awesome, right?
Mhm.
Here's another concept though that he was talking about that I love about this small house thing.
So well, now here's my question. Where do you go? Like, let's say, all right, so I have a vehicle, I have a tiny house.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Well, first of all, I know that he started building his in his own backyard in Park Hill. Okay.
Okay.
But zoning starts to put the kibosh on that to a certain extent. So right now he has his, I believe, on a friend's property in Conifer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, let's say, go travel the country and just go live in different places for like a couple weeks or a month at a time, do I go to an RV park? Do I go to a campground? Where do I go?
Well, I think, if you have correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a compostable toilet, you never need to dump that, do you?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No.
So you don't need to go to an RV park. And I know that this sounds terrible because I'm just super lazy, but when I pull my camper out, I don't store it at my house just because there's no place to store it at my house. Because my garage is kind of funky and my driveway's not wide enough. I'd take my neighbor's fence out. I already do that with my car. I don't need to be doing it with my camper to boot. But I leave my camper on Montview all the time for weeks because I'm just too lazy to take it back, or like I need to clean it out and I haven't cleaned it out yet to put it back in storage for weeks. I'm talking like 3 weeks at a time and nobody ever does anything.
So I could go like, hey, I'm in San Francisco and I find a good parking spot,
Uh-huh.
which I probably wouldn't do in San Francisco because my windows would get busted out. But I'd go to San Francisco and just park. And then somebody comes by and I'm sitting on my porch drinking a cup of coffee and reading a book, just, reading the paper
Right.
on my tiny house parked on Telegraph in Oakland or something like
Yeah,
that,
and
like just hanging out.
And I would think that you could do that on BLM, right?
I'm sure you could.
Yeah, because BLM, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
BLM.
Bureau of Land Management, land. So it's like normally, okay, so like here's Colorado, okay, the whole state. And the really good stuff, like the outdoor stuff, is normally like a state park or a city park or, a national forest or national park or whatever it is. But then sometimes there's stuff on the periphery that I don't know what it is. Maybe like water or like maybe somebody's land kind of cuts through it. And so it's not really that valuable, or I don't know how they necessarily make those delineations, but it just belongs to all of us. So like one of my favorite places to go camping is actually adjacent to Canyonlands in Utah. Okay, so here's Canyonlands National Park. And this is like being in Canyonlands. You're at the bottom of a canyon camping on the Green River, but you don't have to pay any fees or anything like that because it's just BLM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's pretty cool. We don't have that much BLM here, do we?
I don't think so in Colorado.
Yeah, Utah has a ton.
Mhm.
Why is that, do
Because
you
there's
think?
so much desert.
Probably.
Yeah. But and BLM sometimes can be the ugliest land. You know what I mean? Like nobody wanted to make it into a national forest or whatever. But a lot of times it's just adjacent to a national forest. And you don't
Utah
have to pay
does
fees.
have some. There is a place in Utah that I go rafting, or that I used to go rafting when I was a kid, called Desolation Canyon. Like
Uh-huh.
it is like desolate
Uh-huh.
in Utah.
Yeah.
So that might have something to do with it. Colorado's just so beautiful. Everybody just wants to make it all into national park.
Right. Well, and I love Mineral Bottom in Utah, and it was on the Green River, and it was BLM. So, and there was a guy that lived down there. I don't know if he necessarily lived down there. I don't know what he was, but I mean, he just had like a tiny, a camper and some solar panels, and he was good to go.
This is tripping me out, man.
Well, and not only that, but Aaron, I mean, just to kind of give you a frame of reference on electricity, like my camper, has a battery for electricity if I'm not plugged in somewhere. And then I have solar panels that are on the roof of my camper. So I can be off grid, like anywhere. I mean, that's why I got the solar panels. So I would have that power off the grid.
Tell my parents I love them.
I will.
Tell my parents
Hey,
I
I
love
met
them,
your mom,
but
and I
they
will
are-
tell her that.
They are not going to see much of me for a little while. So I'm going to get one of these.
Wow. Hey, while you're contemplating that, I'm going to let our listeners know that you're listening to WCS Radio, and we only have a half an hour left of this show, so I'm going to go to a break.
Doing it across.
A single ember that escapes from a
I swear I
wildfire
get
can
worse
travel
as
over a
the
mile,
semester goes on.
carrying a world of trouble.
Yeah.
It can land, ignite, and destroy your home and community. With simple steps to adapt to
isn't it a
wildfire,
trip?
like cleaning areas of
When I
buildings,
first saw it
knowing
too,
community
I
safe
loved that.
zones,
Well,
you help
because I'm not a
protect your
person.
home and community.
Okay, so like
from
my sister
wildfire
thinks my
danger.
house is tiny.
But becoming
I
fire
don't
adapted
consider my
is more than
house.
one person.
It wouldn't be considered a tiny house anyway. I mean, just like from the logistics.
Visit fire
But
adapted
my house
stores
is like
today for more ways to help
975
protect
square
your
feet.
home and community
I don't think that's
from
a small
wildfire.
house. But I
A
don't
public
need
service
every
message
house.
from the
But
U.S.
every
Forest
time I look at a new
the Ad
place, it's
Council,
always
and from
smaller.
WCAS
Like even that
Radio.
one that I looked up by you, that was less square
Driving in the
footage than
car
my
make you want to
house.
smoke? What
Yeah.
about having a
You
cup
know
of
you
coffee
dropped
in
an
the morning?
earring like an
Or
hour
dealing with
ago.
stress?
No.
These
It's on the
things
board.
and many others
And the
are
back
triggers
is
for
just
smoking. And if you want to quit
Stuck in my
smoking,
ear.
you'll need to relearn
Where
how to
is it on
handle
the
all of
board?
these
Oh, here it
things
is.
without a
Oh,
cigarette.
wow.
X can help. It's a
I had no
free
idea.
3-step quit plan created with help from Mayo Clinic and input from ex-smokers.
Aaron, there's
It can
probably
help
a
you
tiny
relearn
house,
your smoking triggers and your life
yeah,
without
that you can
cigarettes.
find, and
Get
it-
your
it
free
would- it would
X quit
surprise
plan
me if
at
there wasn't some sort of way
becomeanex.org.
that network
X,
can find
a
out.
new way to
I'm
think
in San
about quitting.
Francisco, I'm in
This
Los
message
Angeles,
brought to you by
I'm in
X
Las
and the
Vegas.
Ad Council.
Instead of couch
No.
surfing, use somebody's
Yeah, exactly. It's like
driveway.
When burning
Airbnb
outdoors,
for-
remember.
Well, see, and that's
if
the
it's
thing
too
that I
hot to
want to
touch,
do
it's too hot
is
to
just go
Before building a fire
Go
or
to
burning yard
a
waste,
state
contact your
for a
local
couple
fire
of weeks,
department for
explore
open
the
burning
state, and then
regulations.
go on to another state. For a
Always
couple
be sure to
weeks.
burn responsibly because
You know, you
9
can
out
cover
of
the
10
whole country
wildfires are
for years.
caused by humans. kids.
I want to do that.
That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be
You know, you
prevented.
can tour those. and go
Brought
down
to you by the
Tivoli
U.S.
and go on
Forest
springs
Service,
and
your
you
state forester, and
You can go check
Smokey
them
Bear.
out.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm
free.
single. I don't have any
Visit
kids. You know,
SmokeyBear.com.
Now's your time.
Only you can prevent
That
wildfires.
will be. we should
WCAS
protect- we
radio
should do a road
cares
trip
when it
down to the
counts.
Springs if you want.
Yeah, I'm into it.
In May.
May. Everything's in May. You're gonna
As
be
a
a very
parent,
busy girl.
you
in
can't
May.
help
It
but look
is.
at your child and wonder what the future holds. You may dream about the possibility of your son or daughter becoming a professional athlete or a renowned heart surgeon. But while you're dreaming, consider this. The odds that your child will be diagnosed with autism are 1 in 88. Knowing the signs of autism and catching it early can make a world of difference to your child and to you. To learn the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council and WCAS Radio.
According to a recent survey, 86% of dads spend more time with their children today than their own fathers did with them. However, 7 out of 10 also reported that they could use tips on how to be a better parent. Even the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time today to be a dad. For more information, call 877-4BAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and by WCAS Radio. Saving money today is like giving a gift to your future self. A little money from each paycheck can go a long way, and you don't need those savings set aside to do cool stuff in the future. I was able to buy an amazing car because I was able to save money.
Can you
Yeah, it's
look
hard,
for
but
stuff
you know,
like
it's a great thing to do. Take control of your finances and make savings important
Yeah,
for
that's usually a search box.
Buy that car that you've been dreaming about buying. Put away a few bucks. Feel like a million things. 3 ways to save. Go to feedpig.org or visit Facebook on Facebook. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the Ad Council, and WCAS Radio.
If you're a parent, you can't help but look at your child and wonder what the future holds. You may dream about the possibility of your son or daughter becoming a professional athlete or maybe a renowned heart surgeon. But while you're dreaming, consider this. The odds that your child will be diagnosed with autism are 1 in 88. Knowing the signs of autism and catching it early can make a world of difference to your child and to you. To learn the signs, visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Aid Council. WCAS cares when it counts.
Or we'll go back.
And you're listening to Social Penetration, where entertainment meets enlightenment.
Now, hey, we're back. We're having a whole show about sustainability, and Aaron Howell has decided that he has found his new home.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy.
That's happening.
Yeah. Hey, we should do like a whole trip together, like a convoy down to Tumbleweed. I've heard it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, to tour these houses and stuff. I've thought about that too, about like if I moved to California and how expensive it is, if I just bought some land and got a tiny house instead, you know, in Santa Barbara or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shit, I've paid more for cars than that. You know, so.
And they're not all that expensive.
Well, apparently I paid more to rent a house.
Well, and here's the thing, they aren't all that expensive. I mean, that's the thing, is those are like the souped up ones for sure. You know.
Well, even the souped up one is like $500 a month.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Pretty nutty. Okay, so Jonathan, he talks here. I'm just gonna do another plug because Walk to Connect is definitely a big contributor to sustainability. So. Nice.
And speaking of sustainability from a transit standpoint or a travel standpoint, I'm amazed at how often, I tell people about how much I ride my bike, and I really don't ride what I consider to be very far. And people go, "You're crazy!" Like I live in Bear Valley, and I ride to and from Baker, and it's a 10-mile ride basically. So 20 miles a day.
Yeah.
And there's a period of time where I was doing 15 or 30 miles a day when I was living with my folks. And I wish I had gotten into that when I was younger. I probably could have been a lot more physically fit when I was a teenager and in my early 20s had I really understood how short the distances really are between points.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who I know he's not listening. So Logan, our bass player, my best friend, my best buddy, he will do whatever he can to reduce the amount of walking that he has to do. You know what I mean?
My brother does that too.
Yeah, like drive to the corner store type of stuff.
My brother will go around a parking lot 10 times to get a spot that's so close. And I'm like, once you're in a parking lot, that means you're in proximity to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like that means you're close. It's the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
lock it in, man.
Right.
I've had people wait for me to pull out of a parking spot so that they could park the closest to the recreation center.
Yeah.
Where they are going to exercise.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty funny.
It's really not.
hilarious.
It's really not all that far. I mean, just get on a bike, man.
Or
walk.
It was really funny. I had a doctor at one point that was like, "Well, you know how much you exercise," and I'm like, I don't exercise a lot. And he was like, "Well, don't you walk your dog 4 to 5 miles a day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it takes an hour or an hour and 15 minutes.
It's nothing.
It's a dog. That's how much you walk your dog, right?" So, I mean, I don't get that.
I look
time to walk him now,
generally what I do is when I need to go somewhere in the city, I look up the bicycle route and I go, okay, hour and a half, whatever it is, and then I look at and it'll be usually 45 minutes to an hour or something like that if it's on the other side of town. And then I look at the bus schedule and I compare the two. And if the bike route is a shorter trip than the bus route, I'll ride my bike.
Right.
The bus route, if it's an hour and a half, 2 hours by the bus or 45 minutes on my bike, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
Man.
No, absolutely. Do you love your bike? Your bike is awesome.
I own 3 bikes. I rode my Cruiser here today. I went and picked it up from O'Healy Bicycle Shop. I'm working on getting all my bikes back to my house.
Right on.
But I'm looking. The bike trip's next month, actually.
So you have a Cruiser, and where did you get your Cruiser from?
I bought it from one of the original founders of the Denver Cruiser Ride. Is a guy I went to high school with.
Oh, cool.
And he sold me a Worksman bicycle, which is the oldest bicycle company in the United States.
Oh wow.
And they do their wheels are motorcycle wheels, basically. So they're big, heavy industrial utility bikes.
Wow.
So that's my Cruiser. They're meant to carry trailers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I have that, and then I have a 70s Ross Signature Series, I believe is what it's called, and that's my road bike. And then I have a custom fixed gear bike that Sailor Jerry Rum bought for me.
That's awesome.
And which is hilarious because I don't drink, and even if I did, I wouldn't drink rum and then get on my bike.
Right.
I learned my lesson the first 2 times. But yeah, so I love riding bikes. It feels good.
I have a pink Cruiser with streamers on the handlebars.
Of course you do. Of course
I love
you do.
And I just got butterflies and flowers at the end of last summer to put on the spokes of my wheels. So I now have little flowers and butterflies on my wheels. It's pretty great. And I have a bell.
It just, especially with how bad traffic has gotten, the only time that I wouldn't ride my bike is during the wintertime when the weather's bad. I'm not that ballsy. I know some people who ride year round.
I have neighbors that do. I'm on a bike path. Montview, it has a bike lane. And so, I mean, I have neighbors that it's icy, snowy, and they're still riding to work downtown.
Hey, now I would do it if I had, I found these incumbent trikes that actually they're quads. They're the incumbent quads with giant
I've
thick
seen
tires.
just the ones that have
Giant
two
thick
wheels
tires. Yeah.
with yeah, some of my neighbors, they just it's just dumping snow, and there's their bike with the big fat tires like that, like leaving tracks on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so I don't want to forget to talk about this before we go, because we only have 15 minutes left. But I wanted to talk about, what are you doing in your garden this year?
The garden. You know, last year up we live at about 7,500 feet, and so it's kind of like it redefines the word inhospitable when it comes to growing
Right.
anything in the earth, because you can get hail in June, and you get high winds that blow everything down, and you get frosts in August. You know, it's just not a lot of fun. But last year we were able to. We're huge tomato eaters, for one thing.
Okay.
We eat a lot of tomatoes, and I should own stock in New York Glen for all those little
Right.
28-ounce cans of roasted tomatoes. that I
I
get.
eat the crap out of those too.
I know, and so we were able to put up 100 pounds of tomatoes last year. And so this year
Wow.
we just transplanted all my little tomatoes. I'm trying to double that this year because we ran out in January.
Oh wow.
That's just how much we eat. So
Is that in your own yard or at the community
it's
garden?
in my own yard.
Whoa.
Yeah, because our own yard, you know, it's kind of a freaky thing. We picked our house very specially. For one thing, neither of us has a whole ton of money when it comes to the big scheme of things. You know, we're not people with a lot of disposable income, and so we sort of had to bide our time, figure out where we wanted to live and why, and then save money. It's the old-fashioned way, you know,
Yeah.
as opposed to the pay 5% down.
Yeah.
you
Or
know.
the Kanye West way that I live. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we won't talk about
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But so we picked out a place to live that was close to public transportation.
Mhm.
So I'm about a 2-minute walk from the RTD, so I can take that down to Denver whenever I need to come down. We call it down the hill, up the hill, down
Right.
the hill. So I can come down the hill to see you and go back up the hill to my house. It's a neighborhood where I can walk to downtown. I can walk to the coffee shop. I can walk to the grocery store. I can walk to the post office.
Nice.
And it's in a great little. I wouldn't call it working class by the usual definition of that, but it's like teachers, retired teachers, and people who do massage therapy. They're acupuncturists. They're counselors and accountants. They're not 7-figure
Right.
executives and.
I met a
things like that.
journalist that lived in your neighborhood once.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
It's a great little neighborhood. We
It is
love
a great neighborhood.
But we picked it for a reason. And one of the reasons was that it has this great southern exposure. And so in the backyard, I can sit out in the sun. Literally, the sun will be on my face in the backyard from 6 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So it's this big circle that it makes. And so that's perfect for growing all kinds of things that we might eat. It contributes to like this whole, it's back to the circle things, this whole circular nature of the life that I want to make for myself. So I quit my corporate job.
Right.
I used to be in a job, I was in advertising, which essentially meant that I commuted an hour each way and worked 60 hours a week to make a bunch of fat, old, rich white guys richer. And it made me very sick, and then I quit and started my own freelancing business, and I've stuck with that ever since. But I also wanted to ditch the commute. I didn't just want to ditch the old rich white guys. I wanted to ditch the hour commute. I wanted to ditch the traffic and the unhappiness and the materialism and the whole thing. And so getting into a smaller community with sun and with transport and the ability to walk places has just had this huge impact on my life. It's turned me into a completely different person. The people that I
Nice.
knew when I was in my 20s and 30s just barely recognized me because I'm so much mellower than I
That's
used to be.
awesome. I don't know. You've always been mellow.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't
thought
say
you
it.
were.
You didn't really feel mellow?
No.
Like really wound up?
I was strung pretty tight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I used to be the same way.
Not anymore.
Maybe it's just because you were always more mellow than me, which is everybody.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the community garden up there this year?
Community garden's great. We finally got it launched. Let's see. Last year or the year before. Anyway, after
Hold on. Yeah, tell about the fight that it took.
This is in Evergreen, and so we had to fight for about 5 years to get this little community garden. It's a third of an acre. It's on an old farmstead. There used to be an old chicken shack that was falling over, and there was a little tiny barn that was also falling over. And the local Parks and Rec district used it to store their garbage. So there's this big pile of old swing sets and chunks of concrete and these toxic boards, and it's a junk pile basically. But when we wanted to clear it out and turn it into a community garden, the nearby neighborhoods didn't want us to do that because they thought it would be unsightly.
As opposed to the swing sets that are piled up over there, right?
That's what I said. Yeah, a facepalm moment, but
Better the devil you know.
right. At least we know that the swing sets are there. We're used to looking. at them.
We've grown comfortable with the junk pile.
Exactly.
We're just simple folk.
Yeah. So thanks to people like Rachel Emmer, who's a big sustainability guru up in Evergreen, we were able to patiently work through the process and gain public support, explain how it was going to look and what it was going to do and how happy it was going to make people. And now we have a waiting list of 70 people, I think,
Wow.
to get into the garden. So we're having to build a second one, and
Nice.
we're already looking at spaces to maybe build a third one. as well.
Nice. And are you meeting less resistance now that you're doing
Oh
that?
yeah.
Okay,
Because
that's
now
fun.
they see, I understand.
There's a
As you-
waiting list of 70 people
to
ready
get into the
garden.
waiting to get into the
Honey, the letter came.
That's
We did it, baby.
They come and the people on the waiting list, they come to the garden and they sort of linger. So we'll be out there digging away or picking things, and you'll see people off in the corner just watching us.
Just like peeking over the
Oh, yeah.
fence,
Or
just
they,
like
they put their faces up to the fence, they grab the mesh, and look through it.
It's like the little kids
Someday.
waiting to get into like the good elementary school.
We'll be in there someday.
you just pull the blinds down.
No,
It's a garden. It's outdoors. We don't have blinds. Well, we have them just for pulling in the face.
That's
Waiting outside.
We put the palm trees over here. Just move them so that they can't see.
It's great fun. It's great community. It gets people together, and we all, you do stuff in the dirt, even if you're not a gardener, even if you don't like getting your hands dirty, which is not
I do.
not me, but people get together. They dig a little bit, and then they go sit at the picnic table in the shade, and they crack a beer, and we sit there and throw things at each other and talk shop.
Nice.
And it's just, and it's in a park, and so you can garden, and you can go over you can drop your kids off at the rec center in daycare or in swim class, and you come over and pick your carrots, and you go pick up your kids and you go home. It's just a really nice little civic institution now.
Nice.
That's where I teach during the summer, and I'm
What are you teaching?
I am teaching this year. I'll be doing a high altitude gardening class up at in the
Nice.
Jefferson County Library System.
Nice.
And I'm a master gardener in Colorado and a master mountain composter. And so I teach people how not to waste stuff.
Nice. Hey, okay, Keegan will kill me if you don't give him some advice on composting.
Oh, Keegan?
Yeah.
Keegan knows everything he needs to know about composting.
He does?
just needs to have a space to do it.
Okay.
It's hard to do in a townhouse. Now, what I can give Keegan is a worm bin. You can get a Rubbermaid, one of those big square Rubbermaid containers from Home Depot for $4. Drill a few holes in it, throw some damp newspaper and stuff in there, and then get some worms. They make special composting worms. You chuck them in there. You put the whole thing in the bottom shelf of a closet. They're completely silent. They don't.
Hold on. A closet in your house?
In your house.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't get out.
Okay.
They're in the bin. They don't smell.
Okay.
They don't make any sound.
Do you
They
give
don't
them some
need
food?
You go whenever you have coffee grounds or banana peels or
okay.
anything like that. You just lift the lid up and you toss it in there.
Okay.
They get in the corner and the worms eat your garbage, basically.
Whoa.
Wait, worms with dirt or just
They don't need dirt.
just newspaper worms and then toss them eggshells, coffee grounds,
Yep.
banana peels.
In your house?
In your house, yeah.
So I don't even need curbside composting in Denver?
Well, you eat a lot of produce, and so you should probably keep the curbside composting.
Oh, okay. I do eat a lot of produce.
For a lot of people, we don't have curbside composting in Jefferson County.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people live in subdivisions up there where there's covenants. They're not allowed to even have a compost bin.
Okay.
So this is a solution where you can kind of sneak it in.
So what's the difference? I mean, you guys eat a lot of produce too, right?
We do.
Okay, so how come you can have it? I mean, like, how come it works for you?
I have an indoor and an outdoor one.
Oh, got it.
I have, are you going to bleep this out if I say a swear word?
Yeah, sure.
Good. So I have a little worm ranch. It's called the Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker worm ranch.
Nice.
And
I love it. I love it.
And so I use that for things like in the winter, I don't really want to be walking out to the compost pile all the time. And they love coffee grounds anyway. They go through a ton of coffee. But outside we can process more stuff. I have a bigger pile outside that I can do that with. But if you live in an apartment and that's all you've got, that's a great solution.
Right. Oh, I bet he'll be a pig in mud. Okay, so like let's say
Or a worm in trash.
A worm in newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about So what do you do if you live in a place and you're eating produce? You just throw it out?
And you're eating produce?
Like if you have produce left over, do you just throw it out?
To
You know, like
the-
in Keegan's situation. Okay, let's say he's eating a lot of produce.
Yeah.
What's he do with his produce?
That's a good question.
Just tosses it.
There aren't as many options. There aren't very many options for people who live in Keegan's situation, unless he wants to do a worm composting thing. Maybe he knows a friend who he could take it to. I used to have people bring it to me because I composted in our town outside. So she would bring over these little bags of orange peels and banana peels and stuff like that, and dump it in my pile when I wasn't there. I'd see her come. She'd pull up in the driveway and walk in the backyard, and then I'd hear her shake it all out and then get back in the car. And
See,
drive away.
I would make friends with the worms too.
Yeah,
Like
would
I
you?
would.
Well, we never kill them, so
Yeah, that's good. And do they get real big and fat?
no,
They don't?
not these, but you can get the ones that get big and fat.
Hmm.
So it's fun. It's just a way to, it's a way to stop wasting things. And,
Right.
There's a whole deal. There's a post on my blog right now that's about happiness. There's a guy named Dan Buettner who wrote a great article about. He's written a series of books, and the first one was called Blue Zones, and it was about picking the happiest places in the world and then trying to figure out why they're the happiest places in the world. And there's another one, a sequel to that is called Thrive, and he really analyzed several of these
What's the
things.
guy's name
His
again?
name is Dan Buettner.
Okay, I know Dan Siegel, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and so he figured out that there's several common traits in all of these super happy places. One is that, and Jonathan will be happy to hear, one of them is community, and community, a big element of community is walkability, being able to, not having to get into a car and drive for an hour to get to anywhere. Community, being around other people, getting a little bit of exercise, not having to have these long, ghastly commutes to a job that you can't stand anyway.
Right.
Just crafting the things in your life, and you don't do it all at once. You do it piece by piece. You bite off a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And you can change your whole life over the course of, not very long.
Nice. You're awesome.
Well, no.
That was so beautiful. I think we should end on that. What do you
It
think?
was beautiful.
You're so goofy.
Oh no, I'm
Feelings. Moments.
moments.
That is so great. Well, you know what? This has been a great show.
It is
Thank
very
you.
true.
I had fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. You're like the now, okay, so if he's the genius, what are you?
I'm the greenness.
You're the queen.
The green, yes.
The queen hedonist. I'm
The
calling
queen- the
I'm
queen
calling you the
hedonist.
queen hedonist. I like that a lot. Awesome. Well, that was another successful 3 hours of social penetration this evening. You've been listening
It
to.
flew by.
It did fly by. You've been listening to Margaret Rohde, the queen hedonist of thegreenhedonist.com, right?
The compost with the most.
The compostist with the mostest. Right. The compostist with
compost hostess.
Yeah, right. And Erin Howell, Heavy Mental Coaching at
Woo-woo.
heavymentalcoaching@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And then it's me, Stacy Daymaker, Social Penetration Radio host. See you next week.
For another scintillating episode of Social Penetration, we're here every Wednesday, 6 to 9 p.m. on WCAS Radio. See you next week.
Oh dear.
Those are so. Oh yeah, baby.
Got to do this paper tonight. Boo. And there's so
Boo.
much. He changed so
Oh really?
much.
Oops. Is that the original pepperoni?
Oh my god.
Nope.
Oh, I meant to say something about Lucky Bites.
Oh, dude, yeah, I did either.
Oh,
I meant to say something about the kitchen too.
love the kitchen.
Oops, I'm making a huge mess.
That's all right.
Uh,
You're cleaning it up.
mm-hmm. That sucks that I have to do this paper tonight.
How much do you have to do? Can you do it in the morning when you're fresher?
I was kind of thinking, but I have an appraisal I have to do in the morning.
Can you postpone it? If somebody's sick, somebody's dying.
They lose a loan if I don't see it tomorrow.
Okay. Somebody's sick, somebody's dying.
Yeah.
Aaron, you have to ride your bike home.
Not all the way home just yet. Is it cold? It's probably a little cold.
Maybe a little, might be a little cold. But where are you going before you go home, buddy?
I'm going to enjoy the company of a young lady.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
You. I love it how you told that story about womanizing, and then you're like, I've done that maybe.
I'm a bartender and a lead singer.
Right. If
I
you're
do
not
all
getting
right.
any ass, if you're not getting any ass,
And I'm
You have a
young and I'm
fucking
single and I'm not hurting anybody.
you're not. You're right. Although it's so crazy, you and Keegan